welcome back to Crime and Sports.
Yay!
Yay, Jimmy. So warranted this week, the yay. God, do we have scum. My name is James Petrogallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I am Jimmy Wisman.
Good God, everybody. Let me just tell you, first of all, thank you guys for coming in and get this all out of the way. Because, wow, do we have just an insane story today.
Good.
It's wild. But thank you guys this week for your iTunes reviews. You guys were huge this week.
Shit.
Thank you guys so much. That means the world to us.
It sure does.
It just melts the hearts of two blackened, icy,
they're so icy,
cynical comics. Thank you guys so much. They really help us. If you haven't done it yet, please get on iTunes.
Yes.
I know it takes 30 seconds to sign in, but this takes like days and days to do. So
it does.
Help us out on there. Just sign in. Give us 5 stars. We don't care what you say. Say you're following instructions, following directions. It doesn't matter. It just helps us out immensely business-wise, like more than we could even begin to explain to you. Also, too, if that's not enough, some people, it's not enough. Sometimes. People, they're like, I love it too much. And I gave an iTunes review, and that's fine, but what more can I do? And we love you people. Thank you, guys. You can do more.
You can.
You can get on patreon.com/crimeandsports, and you can give us a donation on there. If you don't want to do that, you can do a one-time donation. You can go to PayPal, and we are crimeandsports@gmail.com.
We are.
Do that. Also, where else can they go, Jimmy?
They can go to truecrimecomedyteam.com. Not truecrime, but truecrimecomedyteam.com.
Yes, and they can get their Crime and Sports T-shirts.
It's already there.
Yes, and their Small Town Murder T-shirts as well. Also, too, listen to Small Town Murder if you're not listening to Small Town Murder. It's what we do here, except with a murder in a small town.
Yep.
So if you like this, you will love that. Also, listen to P.S. I Hate This Movie, where me and my girlfriend Sarah make fun of bad romantic comedies. That's a lot of fun, too. Do that. But yeah, get on there. Help us out if you can. We appreciate it more than you could even know.
This last week's order is going to be insane for me to fill.
Thank you, guys.
I've got so much work to do.
We can't wait to send you guys out T-shirts.
It's going to be fun.
Wait to get pictures of people wearing them. We're psyched,
that's
guys.
The best
so
part.
thank you guys so much for doing that. Get on there, do that. Now that that's out of the way.
Yes.
First of all, last week was
what
a
the
nut.
shit. What the shit?
Last week we had a mess of a guy, as usual, with Kirkland.
What a boxing record, though.
Oh, man.
He was doing so great.
He was doing so well, and he was so good. And he's a lot of times, Jimmy, we do this a lot. A lot of times, and lately I've noticed, we had a lot of episodes where we're like, I hate this son of a bitch, and goddamn it, and we're angry by the end of it, like Dave Meggett, Tom Payne, guys like that. We just want to chug, or Craig Titus, that sort of asshole. But we get a lot of guys that it's hard to hate them. It's always, we like them except for that one thing they did.
One thing they did
it
was like, it's that line that you're like, that's unforgivable. I want to hang out with you, but stop with the swastika. Stop with the N-word. What's your problem?
Yeah, Mickey Dora painting swastikas on his surfboard and saying the N-word. Other than that, seems like an awesome, fun guy.
So fun.
Javaris Crittenton. You love his upbringing, the fact that he worked hard and he got above everything, and and then he kills somebody like a fucking moron. You're like, Jesus Christ, you idiot. But you let Kirkland, fun guy, exciting in the ring, all this shit, but he's got to choke a woman and rob a dollar store.
And then
you're like,
stop paying for his kids.
Stop.
When he's got money, you asshole.
Idiot. This is one of these where we will hate this son of a bitch with all of our heart and soul. That's all I have to say. We're going to hate him. I'm so fucking disgusted and angry with this asshole right now. It's Eugene Zumhofe.
Okay.
Eugene Otto Zumhofe.
I have no idea who he is, but his name is stupid.
Well, his nickname is even stupider.
Okay.
That's his real name.
Zumhofe.
And his nickname is Rock and Roll Buck Zumhofe.
Jesus.
Rock and roll, Buck Zumhofe.
He hung on to Zumhofe?
Zumhofe, he is. Well, this is in Minnesota, so there's a lot of people of that ethnicity.
There's a lot of Zumhofes up there?
I don't know if there's a lot of Zumhofes. Actually, there's a few, as we're going to get to later on.
Relate to all of the Zumhofes in town?
But this guy, wow, does he make me angry. Okay. He's a complete asshole, and he's not even good at his job. That's the other thing, too. Ugh. He's shit at what he did. He's terrible at it, and he had some success even though he's terrible at it. And then he also is a dickhead in his personal life, too. So you just want to hate this guy.
I'm listening.
He's a wrestler. Okay, a professional wrestler.
Obviously.
His name's Rock. There's not a lot of NFL guys named Rock and Roll Buck Zumhofe on the offensive line. So He's a wrestler. He's not a soccer player.
Right.
And if you don't know anything about wrestling, doesn't matter. We're going to tell you about an asshole.
Yeah.
Just sit back and listen to that, we'll have a good time making fun of wrestling and everything that goes on there, because that's what we do here. We make fun of everything. He's from Hamburg, Minnesota, which is he says about 40 miles outside of Minneapolis, very small town. It's where he grew up. And there's a lot of small Minnesota towns we're going to be mentioning. New London, Cyrus, Hamburg. All these little Minnesota towns are involved in this. This is almost exclusively in the state of Minnesota this is going to take place. So imagine bad accents, a lot of blonde hair, a lot of flat land, and Chinese people for some reason.
Chinese people very odd. For no reason.
Very strange. He grows up in this town. He has 2 older sisters. He says when he grew up, he wasn't a real big wrestling fan, didn't know too much about it. One of his sisters was like 5 years older, one was like 10 years older. And when he was about 10, he had a sister that was 19 or so. Her boyfriend was very much into wrestling. He'd come over and watch wrestling, and he got Buck into wrestling. Now, in Minnesota, in the 70s and in the 60s and in the 80s, for that matter, the wrestling was called the AWA. The AWA was their WWE or whatever the hell. Back then, try to explain a little bit so this makes sense, because otherwise later on it's not going to make sense. Back then, in wrestling, you had territories. So right now it's just a WWE, and that's
just
worldwide,
wrestling. Right?
I mean, TNA, I don't even know that still exists. But
I don't think it does.
Either way, it's national. That's just a national thing. It's not regional. They go all over the country. Their TV's on everywhere. That's not what it was like back then. Back then, everything was regional. So you had the WWE, which is the WWF back then, WWF actually in the 70s. They were in the Northeast. They had Pennsylvania, New York, Connecticut, Massachusetts, the tri-state, that little area down to D.C. That was their area. That's where their TV shows were on a Saturday morning. The kids would watch, and that's where they'd sell tickets and they'd do their thing. Then you had the NWA, which was like down south and national. You had your Portland, and you had your World Class in Texas with the Von Erichs, which we'll also talk about, because they're the biggest tragedy. All sorts of suicides and deaths. You've even heard of them, I'm sure. And then in the north part of the country, you had Florida, Georgia, there's a million different territories, Memphis, I don't need to get into all of them. One of them was the AWA, and that was in Minnesota. That was based out
Minnesota?
No, it was based out of Minneapolis, and AWA was actually the first to expand more than the others. AWA expanded from Minnesota to Chicago, Wisconsin, all through the Midwest, and then they went out too. Their markets were in Denver, Phoenix, Winnipeg, so they went out west.
They
also
even went into a different country.
Omaha. They'd go to Winnipeg. That's kind of the same. Wrestling's big up there in Canada, and it was right there
May as well be Minnesota.
from Minnesota. So I mean, this was their loop, and this was like the biggest loop in the country. Everywhere else stayed in their little area. If you were in Texas, you'd do Houston, Dallas, boom, 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 and back in. In small towns, you'd do Odessa, you'd do that, but you wouldn't go to California and back. They had San Francisco by the early 80s, AWA. So they were taking it a little bit differently, and they were trying a little bit harder, the AWA, but that was the main. In Minnesota, that was the AWA was all there was. It was run by a guy named Vern Gagne. Vern Gagne seems like an asshole from everything I've seen.
Sounds scary to me.
He's a guy, he's actually like a cool old timer if you think about it this way. Fought in World War II. He came back. He was on the Olympic team as a wrestler. He's like a national champion in college wrestler, went to the University of Minnesota, came back, made the Olympic team. The team didn't wrestle that year in the Olympics. There was something with freestyle and Greco-Roman and some shit that doesn't matter to us here. But they didn't wrestle, but he's still an Olympian. He gets drafted by the Green Bay Packers as a football player, too. He doesn't end up playing football because back then you made nothing playing football, and wrestling was actually very lucrative. So he went...
Still is.
Yeah, so he went into professional wrestling instead, became a huge national star in the 50s when, wrestling was on national television on a Saturday night. I mean, that was what everyone watched in the 50s. Like, it's so funny. Both my grandfathers, my grandmothers all like wrestling.
Really?
Because they were around in the 50s. Anyone who watched TV in the 50s likes wrestling. It's really weird. That was it was as big as anything else in the country. It was bigger than football back then.
I have to ask my grandparents about that shit.
Guarantee they like wrestling if they grew up, if they were home and hanging out in the 50s. Anyway, Vern Gagne starts the AWA after that in Minnesota. He's the local small town, not small towns, Minneapolis, but he's the local hero up there. He runs this whole thing. This is all this guy sees. And Buck Zumhofe is there. Young Buck. At this point, he's just Eugene. Eugene Zumhofe is seeing all of this. A little guy hanging out with his sister's boyfriend, and he sees wrestling for the first time and really enjoys it. His sister's boyfriend takes him to some matches, which really sees it live. He gets super into it then.
Yeah.
As you see anything live, you get into it.
Of course.
And wrestling's one of those things that, I don't know, a lot of people hate wrestling. If you've ever been to a live show, it's impossible to not be entertained by it. It just is. They're going crazy. There's the crowd, everything. You'll get caught up in it.
Go to a monster truck event. I guarantee you're like, I'm a redneck now. I just love this.
Live like that with like an energy from a crowd with all that, you can get caught up in it, whether you like what's going on or not. So
I used to go to all the drag races here when they were here in the wintertime. It's amazing. It's legit fun to go do.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. So he goes, and as a kid, you can get hooked on something like that as a kid. I remember I went to Madison Square Garden when I was 9 years old and saw Hulk Hogan.
You did?
I saw, 1987.
So cool.
I saw Hulk Hogan versus the One Man Gang, in addition to all sorts of stuff. Me and my cousin Jesse, and we got taken, and it was the fucking greatest thing of my childhood. Like when I was a kid, that was for years, that was like our greatest thing in the world, is we got to see Hulk Hogan fight live and all that. And it got
just
me really into it.
Just a few feet away from you.
Yeah, and it got me into it. I mean,
so cool.
I was like, this is so cool. So this is what happens with this guy. He starts watching it from now on.
Yeah.
As he's a late teenager and a young man, he doesn't go to college or anything because he's a fucking moron, as we'll get into. He's driving a truck, and this was hard because I got this from him, and he talks like an idiot. From what I could gather,
it was harder to listen and process what he was saying than it is to dig through public records.
It really was. It really was. And
going through from courthouse to courthouse documents and try to see through the pay window, try to decipher around that, and that was much easier than listening to this fuckhead talk.
It was. Guys, I have a 2-hour interview with this guy, and you don't even know how hard that was to do because I didn't pay for it.
Yeah.
So it was it's not on YouTube, I'll tell you that much right now. It is not easy to find this entire interview. So I tracked this down, illegally downloaded the whole deal. I find this goddamn thing. I'm really into it, and I'm trying to watch this video, and I couldn't get through more than half of it. And I tried a million, and it's not a matter of time or I didn't feel like it. I hate this son of a bitch so much that I can't watch him talk for 2 hours.
Awesome.
I was doing it in 20-minute increments, and finally I'm like, you know what? I don't give a shit what you have to say. Yeah. The fucking court documents say it all. Go to hell, asshole. I'm not listening to you anymore. Literally, I'm like, you know what? I don't even want to know what he has to say.
I love it.
So at this point, old rock and roll Buck, he's not rock and roll yet.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's
Little
Buck
Eugene.
yet. Little Eugene. He's apparently, like I said, hard to decipher, but he's driving a truck from what I can gather here. He's driving a truck from construction site to construction site, collecting scrap. And like cleaning up the scrap and taking it away.
And selling
I assume to sell the scrap for whatever.
He's essentially a meth head minus meth at this point.
That's pretty much it. And he's like doing some schlep work around the sites and that sort of thing.
So shitty.
But I mean, he's like a 19-year-old kid in Minnesota in the 70s. I mean, that sounds
He's
miserable.
scrapping to get by. Literally scrapping to get by.
Literally. Metal scrapping to get by.
That's insane.
So he's sitting there. It's about 1974.
Yeah.
He's watching television.
Yep.
He's watching the AWA. He's watching wrestling, right? He's sitting there in his Minnesota shithole town.
Who's this guy?
And, well, I don't know who he likes or who he's into, but he sees an ad. Mm-hmm. Back then, what they would do, they'd have ads, and this one ad, well, they always have ads, but one ad specifically was for the AWA Wrestling Training Camp. He sees Vern Gagne on television, who's the owner of the AWA, and we talked about, says, do you think you have what it takes to be a wrestler?
Oh, God.
You call this number and come on down to Minneapolis Boxing and Wrestling Club, because that was the official name of the company, and we'll get you blah, blah, blah. So he calls up, and he calls up the office, and he finds out where to go, and he goes to this wrestling camp. Okay, now, this wrestling camp, it's the AWA wrestling camp. He calls in October 1973.
Yeah.
Okay, he finds himself someone to take over his truck route so he can go to camp. And he's planning on going to camp. And the way he's looking at it, he's just like, he's saying, okay, I'm going to go be a wrestler. I'll go to this camp. And then, it's on TV Saturday night. So then I'll drive my truck during the week and I'll make $50 extra on a Saturday night. And that'll be fun. I'll be on TV. I'll get girls. Shit, this is a good deal, right? Wasn't exactly like that, though.
No.
You
got to work every damn day.
You got to work every day. It's a different thing. He just didn't know how it worked. He arrives in the camp at 73. Only a couple weeks left. They did a 6-week camp. He arrives in with only a couple weeks left.
Found out a little late.
I assume they took him in just to see if it was worth telling him to come back, sort of thing. Because in addition to you paying to go to the camp to train, he was actually Vern Gagne trying to find guys he could use. Like, he wasn't just trying to rip people off. Although he would, because he then demands 10% of all their future bookings. Yeah. All their future bookings forever. Everybody told him, go fuck yourself, and left and never gave him a dime.
Good.
Because why would they give him a dime? These camps are insane.
The balls.
Yeah.
The fucking balls to tell somebody, I'm going to teach you how to wrestle, but forever you're going to pay me 10%.
You're going to pay me 10%. That's why Vern Gagne is an asshole.
Yeah,
Vern Gagne is one of these guys that just sits back with his Minnesota accent and goes, hey, everybody thinks I'm a nice guy. You know, like, that's the type of guy.
So you're going to pay me 10%,
hey,
right?
10% there. Let me tell you something. That's just how he talks, too.
Unbelievable.
He's the worst. He was a wrestler, too. He was champ forever there. He's a 50-year-old. He always looks 50 and paunchy and bald as fuck. Homer Simpson bald. And he was the champion.
Wow.
It's like, you're an old man. Bald old man with skinny legs. You shouldn't be the champion, but he'd be the champion up there for years.
He's real life Homer Simpson just winning wrestling matches.
It's his belt.
Right.
So he wins. That's
I made it. I
works.
win.
That's it. These camps would, and I found a lot of this out from Ric Flair's writings. Yeah. And we all know who Ric Flair is. I hope even if you're not a wrestling fan, you know who Ric Flair is. But these camps were in a barn in Minnesota in the winter.
Okay.
Barn not completely enclosed. Yeah. There was gaps in the boards. Yeah. So there's a Minnesota. Draft. Yeah. Right. Minnesota winter. If you're from another country, you don't know. This is extreme below zero shit. This is Arctic
death weather.
This is This is Canada South. This is not good at all. It would be disgusting. The ropes would be like dangerously loose. So you feel like you're going to fall when you bounce through them. They make them do horrible things. They would have, Flair talked about this, a big beam above the ring that the chickens from the barn would go out and would be hanging out with each other, shitting all over the ring.
What?
So they would have to clean the chicken shit out of the ring and hope that it didn't fall on you.
And pray you're not on the mat with your mouth open.
Sometimes they'd show up and there'd be a snow drift in the ring because it came into the barn through the slats in it. So there'd be a shitload of snow they'd have to shovel out.
This is wrestling in Russia.
This is Rocky IV.
Right.
This is Rocky training. But they always did this. And then the physical part of it, what they would try to do is just weed people out.
Yeah.
So Buck says later on, if you could do 500 sit-ups, they'd make you do 1,000 sit-ups. If you could do 1,000 sit-ups, they'd make you do 2,000 sit-ups. Jeez. It wasn't a matter of you were never in good enough shape.
Yeah.
It was just a matter of breaking you.
Yeah.
You'd show up and they'd have you run. He was talking about with Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, which you might know later on. He was talking about an exercise they did where they would hold each other's feet and go up 20 flights of stairs. Like, 20 stories of stairs and then back down the stairs. Back down.
Like wheelbarrow?
Like wheelbarrow. Hold your feet. You climb up with your hands. You climb down with your hands.
20 stories?
20 stories they do this for. That's insane. But this is the type of thing. They'd make them run. They'd do 10-mile runs through the fucking snow and everything. And then when they were done with all of that, then they go
wrestle.
Time to get in the ring. And then they'd kick the shit out of you because you couldn't even lift your arms. And this was, the other thing is, too, in the ring, when they get you in the ring, these guys didn't know it was fake yet.
Yeah.
This is the 70s. They didn't know it was fake, and these guys weren't telling them.
They're throwing forearms.
Yeah,
they weren't dropping knees.
They weren't getting these students in. Vern wasn't getting these students in and going, hey, guys, this is all fake. Let me show you how to do this without hurting somebody. This is a suplex. They beat the shit out of these guys and tried to get them to quit.
Wow.
Ric Flair said he did not know for sure what the fucking deal was till 5 minutes before his first match.
Really?
Trained, ready, in a pair of, in his fucking spandex underwear, standing there with a pair of boots on, waiting to go into the ring.
And find out, is he winning?
Is he winning? Find out, Emma, is this a fight for my life? Or is this, or are they going to tell me what to do?
Yeah.
He didn't know if he was going to have to go fight a guy in there or not, like literally. And he was scared shitless because he didn't know what to do. And then he said, like 5 minutes before, the guy he was fighting came up to him and said, hey, by the way, about 5 minutes, blah, 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 we're going to do this, ends in a draw, whatever. And he was like, that's how it works. Okay.
Wow.
But they didn't tell him that till they were about to step in the ring because they had to protect it so much.
That gives me so much more respect for Flair because he was actually willing to go fight to a death.
He was going to do it. He's like, all right, I'll get in there. Let's do it.
He's like, shit, I'm going to go kill somebody. And then they're like, no, this is fake. It's going to end in a draw. He's like, oh, it's fake?
Oh, it's what?
Jesus,
shit.
I was prepared for you to kill me. I had a will and everything.
Yeah.
Jesus, I said goodbye to my kids on my way here. What
shit.
The fuck?
All right, well, I guess I'm winning.
I left the house and told my kids, in case Daddy doesn't come home.
I guess I'm winning in 6 minutes. Fuck it,
I
never
can't
mind.
wait to get home and be like, it was a draw, and I knew before we started.
I knew before we started. Yeah, back then it was literally they were protecting the secretiveness of the whole thing. Like you could, because they didn't want to tell these guys it was fake, have them quit the camp, and then go home and be like, yeah, it's all fake anyway. Yeah. You know, they had to.
It'll get around.
Back then, you had to make sure that
we need the illusion
was real or whatever. I don't understand what the hell difference that would make.
It's crazy.
You had to make sure it was real.
We all know now, and it's watched fucking crazy.
Doesn't matter. Yeah, it's the same thing.
Doesn't stop people.
So he comes in. He's in camp. These camps also. This Ric Flair was trained here. Ken Patera, Sergeant Slaughter, Ricky Steamboat. Yeah. You name the star, and they were probably trained by Vern Gagne in this system.
I wonder what Sergeant Slaughter's doing now.
He works for WWE.
Does he?
I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
He's worked in the office there for 25 years, I'm pretty sure, once he retired.
I loved him.
Yeah, he was great,
awesome.
Sergeant Slaughter. He was awesome.
He was so mean.
Yeah, and we'll get it. We'll actually have some Sergeant Slaughter coming in. Like I said, Buck arrived with a asshole. Zoom dick arrived. Fuck Zoom shit.
Zumhofe
arrived with only a couple weeks left. He did very well in camp. In camp with him was Sergeant Slaughter. This is when Sergeant Slaughter was being trained to be a wrestler.
He started with him.
They started in the same camp. Also, Playboy Buddy Rose, who's you'd have to be a real wrestling fan to know who he is, but Playboy Buddy Rose, who's a kind of a legendary guy. Anyway, they get done with the camp. Buck actually kept up cardio-wise. Somehow he's in good shape. I don't know what he's been doing, but Vern Gagne told him that he couldn't do everything this year because the camp's not over, so he can't train you totally. He said, keep up all the cardio, keep in touch with the office, call every once in a while, say you're still alive, and then come back to next year's camp.
Gotcha.
So he's psyched.
Yeah.
He's ready to be a star.
They like me.
He goes home, tells all his friends. Yeah. They told me to come back. I'm going to be on TV. I'm going to be a wrestler. This is going to be the greatest. And then 74 comes around, and Vern has no camp. He doesn't have a camp that year because they wouldn't have a camp every year.
Yeah.
He would only have a camp when he had people he wanted to train.
Oh, shit.
So they wouldn't always have a camp. And it kind of...
Zumhofe wasn't good enough.
Nobody was that year. Yeah. So now Zumhofe had to wait. He's driving a scrap truck.
Worst.
And he's just waiting.
He's got to go find Angle that's laying around job sites. Yeah. Oh, God, what a terrible life.
Well, so who he went and found was Billy Robinson.
Okay.
Billy Robinson is a wrestler, and he is a badass wrestler.
Yeah.
He's an Englishman, and he's a real legit guy. Okay. He will rip your fucking head off type of guy.
Rip your shitting head off.
Rip your shitting head off. This guy, I don't even know if he's still alive right now, but if he is, he's probably 75, and I wouldn't cross this son of a bitch.
Really?
He's insanely dangerous. He won the British National Wrestling Championship in 57 and 58, the European Open Wrestling Champion.
You said urine.
Urine in the light heavyweight class, and he beat an Olympic medalist to win in that final.
Really?
He also was trained in the Snake Pit, which is a famous British fighting kind of a group of guys that I don't know how to training center, which is Karl Gotch trained there, guys like that who are like the ultimate wrestlers. This is a badass. This is a guy who'll just rip your fucking head off your shoulders. You can't. This is a perfect match. Billy Robinson is working for Vern Gagne Wrestling, and he's also his head trainer at the time. So what they would do is you'd, like I said, run around, do all these calisthenics, go so your body can't move, and then have to go fight this guy in the ring.
Good God.
And he'd kick the shit out of you. So that's how it works. So Buck finds Billy Robinson, and he ended up starting to help him and starting to train him. Now, training consisted of these two guys. Buck would go on his lunch break from driving the truck. He'd drive the scrap truck over to Billy's house, get out, and they'd wrestle in the front yard.
Get out of here.
Now imagine in the 70s,
training?
Two just white guys in the sun in the 70s just grappling in the front yard with a scrap truck idling nearby.
And it just seems okay.
And it's fine. Super fucking weird, right?
It happened all the time.
All the time. So... apparently, Buck said that Billy would kick the shit out of him, too. He said he would kick his ass till he was crying.
What?
He's like, I'd be a grown man and sobbing in tears because he was beating me up so bad.
In the grass. And he's got to get back in his truck with his back all itchy.
This is his lunch break.
Yeah.
Now he's got to put his shirt back on, hair all fucked up, just get back in the truck, and then go get scrap metal, which sounds terrible.
With his whole body itching from that grass. You remember that? When the fresh cut grass, you lay down on that shit?
It's the worst.
So itchy.
You know he had his shirt off, too.
Of course.
This guy never has a shirt on, I'll tell you right now. He's a fucking moron.
So sweaty.
Gross, and with some Englishman just romping
sweating all
just
over him, kicking the hell out of him.
Kicking the balls off of him. So they're knocking the dog shit out of the poor guy. So
Beating the rice out of him.
beating the rice out of him from last week. So at some point, Billy Robinson decides that Buck is worthy, I guess, because what they would do is, and I've heard this a lot in the training, is they'd beat the shit out of you repeatedly to see if you'd come back.
Okay.
And if you kept coming back, eventually they would be like, okay, he keeps coming back. He must really want to do this. I guess I'll teach him how it works. Because otherwise, like I said, they didn't want just somebody coming and going, I want to be a wrestler. They're like, yeah, come on, we'll show you how fake it is. And then he's like, I don't feel like it anymore.
Yeah.
They don't want that. So you have to prove that you are so down for it that you'll take ass kickings for free in the front lawn at your lunch break forever. So eventually, Billy decides that Buck is worthy and lets him in on it and says, we work with each other. This isn't like whatever we've been doing. That's not how this works. Like,
here's the thing.
We work together.
As a person that just got your ass kicked for so long, somebody now tells you, by the way, we don't have to do it this way.
Yeah.
You don't have to leave bleeding.
Yes.
This is all fake, by the way.
Yeah.
Like, we can just...
We didn't need to do any of this.
faux slam each other. Like, that's all. I would kick him in the fucking dick.
Well, that is considered paying your dues.
I don't give a shit about
like,
dues. Fuck your dues.
That's considered paying your dues to get your ass kicked for nothing.
That's like getting jumped into a gang.
That's exactly what it is.
Jesus.
That is exactly what wrestling is. Wrestling is a fucked up carnival gang. It's a gang of carnies.
And then beat the shit out of you and then phony it up later.
And back then, that's exactly what it was, because they would travel around and they'd pretend to fight for money and try to make a finish so people want to see the next one more. It's a complete... We're
hustling the audience.
Yeah, if UFC is real now, it won't be for very long. We'll put it that way. It will not be real for much longer. It won't.
Listen, they're 200-something fights into this, aren't they?
Yeah.
There's something like that.
Yeah.
It's not anymore. Well, it can't be.
Wrestling in the 20s was UFC.
Yeah.
It was real. And then people said, hey, we've been grappling around for an hour and a half, and there's not that many people here. I bet if we decide to do something fun at the end where people would want to see a rematch, we'll make more money. That's where it came from, and that's where wrestling came from. It came from a couple of guys just going, wouldn't it be great if rather than us fighting and hurting each other every fucking time we fight, because it's real, why don't we just pretend to fight? We'll do all the same moves that we do in our real fight, except just loosen them up a little so we don't get hurt. And that way we can fight more
and
make
ketchup
more money.
on your face.
And everyone went, that's a
cut
great
your head
idea. With a razor. Everyone will think I'm bleeding. This is terrific. That's what happened, and that's where UFC has got ahead. It just has to, because it's just too tempting to make money to go... Shit, if only he beat him this time, or if only they went to a draw,
for sure.
Fuck, people would want to see that next time.
Absolutely.
And then maybe he'll do that. And if you go to one of these guys and go, hey, it's worth $500,000 to you to do this, they're going to fucking do it.
Yeah.
I mean, pride aside, whatever. I'm sorry.
Doubt.
I know people love UFC and they're so angry when it's compared to wrestling, but same shit, sorry. Same thing. So, yeah, he starts to smarten Buck up and not beat the shit out of him and show him some actual wrestling moves of what to do here. So October of 75, Vern has another camp. Another wrestling camp.
So 2 years later,
he's 2 years later, Buck is in this camp.
Okay.
He is in the same camp as Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, which is a famous wrestler.
Yeah.
If you grew up in the 80s, 90s, 70s, whatever, you know who he was.
Yep.
Very famous guy. Grows up, goes to the camp with him, the whole deal. He does well. Like I said, he said him and Ricky the Dragon did the stairs things together, the whole deal. 6 weeks of camp goes by. Buck survives the camp. He said they started out with a couple hundred people, and by like the fourth day, there was 8 people there.
Wow.
That's how it works.
They couldn't do that.
No, they couldn't do that. That's why he makes you do it.
Shit? Yeah.
Well, that's just to clear out the assholes right off the bat. Go run 20 miles. That's half the guys are gone right there.
200 people are in, and then they're like 20 miles.
Yeah. So that's
92 of us are going home.
So that makes sense. You want to weed people out. So he's told that he's going to be used by the AWA.
Wow.
Very excited.
Yeah.
Super excited. He's excited to be on TV. Thinks that, like I said, thinks he's going to drive the truck all week. Weekend, $50 on television, up to his fucking knees and poon.
You bet.
Just women everywhere. This is going to be amazing, right? Then he gets a booking sheet in the mail. They send him a letter in the mail.
His schedule.
It's his schedule, and he sees Omaha, Chicago, Iowa, fucking Denver, and he's like, whoa, this isn't what I had in mind here. I thought this was like a Saturday night thing.
So much for scrapping.
He worked there. He still didn't even know how it worked. Like, he thought you just wrestled once a week, and that's how they did it. Not every night to make money.
He's an idiot.
Yeah, so he sells his truck to wrestle. He's like, well, I guess I'm a wrestler now. Sells his truck off, which, I mean, if you have a full schedule, I guess you're a wrestler. Yeah. 1975, he works for AWA all around. He's opening match fodder. He comes out, gets the shit beat out of him, loses. He's a rookie. That's what they do with the rookies. I mean, unless you're something special. He's not a big guy, too.
Really?
Buck's like 5'11", and the way he moves, man, he's the worst.
Yeah.
He's the fucking worst. His legs, he's got these stiff legs, and they're like too short for his body, so that he runs like he's like a
weeble?
Like a weeble penguin. It's the weirdest fucking thing. And his upper body's like real stiff, and his stupid hair. When you see him, you're just like, God, you look like shit.
Just clumsy.
You are terrible, man. Terrible. So he works all around. Like I say, he's getting beat. He's, he's getting experience anyway. He's just getting in the ring with veterans who beat the shit out of him, and you might pick up a thing or two.
Does he have a gimmick?
Not yet.
Okay.
Right now he's just
showing up, waddling around.
Showing up. I don't know if he's going by Buck yet. I think he's going by Buck now.
Okay.
I think he's Buck Zumhofe.
Okay.
That's his name. That's his wrestling name. Buck Zumhofe, who loses all the time.
Yeah.
So 76 comes around. Vern Gagne tells him, you need to get out of here.
Yeah.
This is what you did back then. You'd work a territory for a year, and then everybody gets sick of you. There's not much more they could do with you, so they'd ship you around. You'd go to another territory, and then the next year you'd loop back in there when the people were ready to see you again because they haven't seen you. This is why the WWE is hard now, because they don't have anywhere to send anybody. So if somebody comes in, they're just there forever until everyone's sick of them, and then they're just fired. So back then it was like, okay, you came in for a year.
Deal with your CTE.
Yeah, go deal with that, asshole. Have fun. Yeah, your neck injury, enjoy. So you're an independent contractor, by the way. They are, yeah. So, I mean, that
and
was...
your name is owned by us.
By the way, yeah.
So change your name if you want to go get in movies, Mr.
Yeah, also,
Mr.
too, you want to go, like, wrestle in armory halls all over the country for $100.
Right.
You can't use our name.
Pick a new name.
People know you by. Because fuck you, basically. That's what this is. They can't ship them around. But back then, they would say, go around, get some experience. Yeah. We'll catch you back around next year when you know what you're doing a little more. So he has to go to different territories. He goes to Vancouver for 6 months. Says he was starving up there. Just it was tough. Goes to Portland for a while. Okay. Portland he'll end up in later on, and we'll talk about that because it's very important in this scumbag's fucking story. Yeah. So he goes to Portland for a while. It's owned by a guy named Don Owen, who's actually kind of a beloved wrestling promoter. Okay. The guys all like him. He's considered very fair. A lot of these guys are considered thieves. They pay like shit. They're not great on the payoffs. There's guys that were like, that guy sucked on payoffs. That guy's fair. Don Owen is the guy that like everybody says is fair, and all that kind of shit. Like, so he's in Portland.
In a business where the businessman is swindling the audience.
Oh God,
it's hard to believe that he would swindle the people that are
shocking,
participating.
Isn't it? That's the thing. They're all carnies. Yeah. That's the thing. They're all carnies. Their job is to lie. All of them. All of their jobs are to lie. That's why I say they're so similar to comedians. Yeah. Because every night they have to go on and do the same bullshit that they had planned out and pretend like they're just thinking of it. It's the exact same thing as a comic. And they're all full of shit. Yeah. It's exactly the same. And it's the same thing with comics. You go around, you're transient. It's really similar. It's really disgusting. 77, he goes to Hawaii. Okay. Because there's a territory in Hawaii, too. That's not the worst thing in the world. Yeah. You're in the 70s.
Sounds nice.
Be a young guy, go hang out in Hawaii for 6 months, wrestle with your shirt off, let the ladies see you, got a few bucks, hang out on the beach. Not bad, especially if you're from...
Superfly made it work.
Right, especially if you're from Hamburg, Minnesota. Yeah. This sounds like a fucking dream come true. I mean, just telling his friends in Hamburg back at this metal scrapyard, I'm in Hawaii making money to be here.
It's December. It's 72.
It's beautiful.
I'm doing all right. Yeah. There's no snow drifts.
So
there's no chickens shitting on me. I'm doing great.
This is when he really starts to become an asshole. Mm-hmm. Okay, this is when he... oh, boy. Okay.
I feel like he's fueled by Poon.
Oh man, is he fueled by Poon. Yeah. Poon is everything.
I feel it.
And it's coming right here. He's in Hawaii, and he claims, and this is part of the interview that I saw, and hearing him talk about this, made me fucking just livid and sick to my stomach, and you'll know why later. Okay. He claims that he would shake his ass in the ring, like do a little like shake thing, like you're doing the twist.
Right.
And the ladies in Hawaii would get excited, and he said they started chanting rock and roll. Because he would shake his ass like he was dancing, so they would chant rock and roll.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
That solicits that, I guess.
Yes. So he says, rock and roll, shake the ass. And when he would shake the ass when he's making a comeback. Okay. Anybody who's seen a Hulk Hogan match or anything knows the Hulk up when he's getting beat, and then he stops. The guy's still trying to beat him, but he's shaking and nothing's affecting him. And he's coming back. He's hulking up. And Wahoo McDaniel had his thing where like the Indians would start doing the Indian war dance, and the guys would hit him, and it didn't affect him. This was his Hulk up. Shaking his ass.
Oh, boy.
He said, I'll shake my ass, and they love it. It's the best, right? Yeah. So he said they started chanting rock and roll. Fall of 77, he goes back home to Minnesota and has, quote, the rock and roll suit made.
Oh, boy.
Okay. This rock and roll suit, I showed Jimmy a picture of this.
Suit.
Is a jumpsuit.
Yep.
It is a V-neck, but it's not a V-neck.
No, it's a
V crotch.
Yeah.
It's a V.
Your balls are almost out.
It's a V that goes to the belly button.
Yeah, it's a David Lee Roth. It's super.
Yeah. It's a one.
I guarantee that's where he fucking found the idea.
Well, shit, this was 77.
Yeah.
This is before David Lee Roth was anywhere.
No shit.
This was more of a disco suit, though.
Did fucking David Lee Roth rip it from him?
Maybe he ripped it from rock and find out where David Lee Roth is from. If he's from Minnesota, I don't fucking trust him because he's seen this asshole. This is like, it's more like a disco suit, it looks like. It's a goddamn bell-bottom one-piece spandex jumpsuit.
Split to the dick. It's
the worst fucking thing ever.
His nipples are out.
It is so ridiculous, this suit.
I can see your nipples.
I can see your nipples. So his Sebastian Maniscalco reference. Sorry. So he's got his nipples out with this V chest thing in his fucking. He looks like an asshole in this outfit. A complete, but he thinks it's great.
But it's got frills on the shoulders and
it's
shit.
Looking great, man. I mean, he has a few of them too. He has them made.
It's got like the Native American boot with like the frills at the top of the boot, like the Native.
Sometimes
the Ultimate Warrior wore those with the frills.
He just
but
had
he had like the calf bands. And
he had like what you put on a little girl's handlebars on a bike. He had,
that's
like,
what's on the top of this fuck's shoulders.
Yeah, he had that. He had all different ones. The one I showed you was a very specific one.
That one's ridiculous.
So he makes this ridiculous rock and roll suit, as he called, and he said it like, "That's when I made the rock and roll suit." Like everyone's going to go, "Oh, the origin! Oh
my god,
the origin!" Now I know.
He just gave us something. He
told us about the suit. He said it. Oh my god,
he gave us a
fucking
secret.
Idiot. This guy's a fucking asshole.
Fucking jerk.
So 1978, he goes and works for Portland again, goes back to Don Owen. He'll be in and out of there, goes to St. Louis for a few shots down there, which I think it was Sam Muchnick that ran that. They go there. NWA all around the country. Does some shots in the AWA, just going around getting experience. This is what you did as a young wrestler back then. This is why wrestlers suck now, because they can't go around and do this.
Right.
Before all the guys in the 80s that you saw on TV, the 90s, like when you saw Hulk Hogan, Hulk Hogan had been a wrestler for fucking 7 years already. By the time he was famous and with WWE,
he was exhausted.
He was already 8 years in and super experienced. These guys now, it's like, well, he got out of camp last week, so I'm sure he'll be good. And it's like, no wonder why they suck. Anyway, moving on. So he's there. He's saying in the late 70s here, he's making about $320 a week. Okay. And he said that was plenty of money in the late 70s.
Really?
Said plenty of money.
That's enough money to make the rock and roll suit?
That's what I was thinking. Like, he had to save up for that rock and roll suit. It doesn't look cheap, but he had a few of them made. 79, he's in AWA a lot.
To have it made, James.
Yeah, he had it made.
He didn't walk into a
this is not off the rack.
And just piece some shit together and be like, Mom, sew these together.
He said, make that V lower.
You betcha.
Lower.
Yeah.
Keep going, pal.
I want some nut cleavage out.
Don't stop till you see pubes. That's what I'm telling you right now. Just keep it going.
Don't stop till there's a bit of bushel.
Unreal. So 79. He's got
Cut it further.
He's got a bit of bushel hanging out in 79. His nipples are showing.
His nipples
are showing. He's in Portland. He's in Hawaii most of the year, that sort of thing. So he was doing fine a little bit in the AWA. Spring of 1980, he comes back to the AWA to work full-time. This is when Vern says, and this is kind of what Vern would do, too, after a while. He would have a guy, let him get experience, and then he would take a guy and have him forever.
Yeah.
Nick Bockwinkel worked there for 30 years, for Christ's sake. Guys like that worked there forever. He tried to marry wrestlers off to his daughters.
Really?
Oh, yeah. He tried to marry one of his daughters off to Hulk Hogan when Hulk Hogan was there.
And Hulk was having nothing?
Hulk said it. The funny thing is, the quote of it's so funny. Hulk said that she had a great body, but her face looked just like Vern's son, Greg. Which Greg Gagne kind of looks like, I don't know how to describe him. He kind of looks like, maybe like if you had like a
Like
Greg
the pitcher,
Brady
Greg
kind
Gagne?
of a little bit. No,
Does he
kinda
look like him?
He kind of looks like Greg Brady a little bit.
Yeah, like Greg Gagne, the picture. The pitcher. He look kind of fucking.
That's kind of yeah. He looks kind of like that. He's got he has the worst physique I've ever seen in wrestling. He just looks like an accountant that's never been in the gym. Like and they just stick him out there. Yeah,
very
like,
similar.
there you go wrestle. Bright white. He takes his shirt off and he's fighting people. You're like, that's not great.
Hilarious.
So anyway,
same name, had the same body. That's crazy.
Same shit. So yeah, he comes back. Now he wants to hold on to people for a while. Mm-hmm. So he's going to use Buck, and he tells, all right, Buck, you're going to be one of my guys. I'm going to use you a lot. Mm-hmm. I don't want you traveling around as much, blah, blah, blah. So Buck says, all right, I got this gimmick to tell you about.
Yeah.
This is my whole rock and roll thing here. And he tells him about the jumpsuit and another piece of equipment that he's going to come up with in a second, another prop. We have, in their own words here, in their own words on selling Vern Gagne this gimmick, in their own words, quote, I went to Vern Gagne and I said, Vern, I'm the rock and roll guy. He looked at me and said, you're nuts. I said, no, I do the shaking and the people love it. He said, I'd never heard of it. So I had to explain to him that when Wahoo McDaniels gets in a pinch, he does the woohoo with the mouth, racist kid thing.
Right.
Yeah.
The
and
FSU chop.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
And when I get in a pinch, I go rock and roll and shake his ass.
Yeah.
He kind of rolled his eyes and said, okay, whatever, you got a deal. So he's like, whatever, I don't give a shit. Sure.
Sounds fine.
That sounds stupid, but fine.
Go nuts.
So, in addition...
Sounds stupid, but we're faking it, whatever.
Yeah, who gives a shit? Right. Get out there and run around like an asshole, do whatever you want. So, this asshole, at this point here, he decides to pick up another piece of equipment as a prop.
Okay.
In addition to his crotch suit.
He needs more rock and roll.
More rock and roll. So, what does he decide is more rock and roll? But a giant boombox.
The big silver one.
I showed this in the picture. A big giant silver.
The one that he held up at
bigger than that. Bigger than Cusacks.
What is that movie?
I can't say anything.
Yeah.
Bigger than that.
Fucking
it's
crazy.
A giant. It's like Radio Raheem from Do the Right Thing.
Yeah.
It's like an 80s black guy boombox he's carrying.
It's the one that
the best way to describe
you picture any black guy in New York skateboarding down the sidewalk with a boombox on the shoulder. It's that fucking boombox.
It takes 12 D batteries. It's one of those. Just 12 of them.
You may as well take a car battery.
Yeah, it costs you $42 to put batteries in this fucking thing. That's all there is to it. How bad do you need to carry around your music? It's fucking ridiculous. Super ridiculous.
$42.
And now back to the show. Oh my God. So he's wearing, and also too, neither of these things scream rock and roll to me.
No.
A disco jumpsuit and a black guy boombox, neither of which said that guy's a rock and roller.
Clearly.
No. That says to me, this guy's super confused.
That says to me that guy doesn't know fuck about rock and roll.
No, he's dressed like Freddie Mercury and fucking, Africa Bombata. I don't understand what
looks like you robbed Run DMC in that boombox.
What the fuck is going on?
Fucking asshole.
Oh, he's such an idiot, this guy. And this isn't even the thing that you're supposed to be mad at him for.
Right.
Wait till you hit this.
But I'm already pissed.
This is going to seem downright charming later.
And I want to take his boombox right off his shoulder, but his dick's almost out.
You were going to, you don't want to go near his crotch. Unreal. So 1980, he's in the AWA as his main gig, but he also goes to Japan and works for a company called All Japan Wrestling, who are, in the old days, there's two Japanese companies, and all of the different territories here, they were each hooked up with one of them.
Gotcha.
The WWE would be hooked up with New Japan, so they would send their guys there on tours, and they would get a huge booking fee for them because American stars are big over here. If you send Hulk Hogan over there, this giant blonde guy, they don't have that in Japan.
Right.
So you get extra money for that. The promotion takes a little cut. The wrestlers make more than they would have made at home.
Right.
Everybody's happy. So that was the way Vern Gagne kept people happy a lot. Was he could send them to Japan, make them an extra bit of money. Because Vern's AWA's whole thing is you didn't work as much. You didn't work 29 days a month. You worked 20 days a month.
That's great.
So you had some time off, but yet you made the same money as the other territories. So everybody liked going there for that reason. You had to be in Minnesota in the winter, but whatever. Anyway, Buck at this time starts to talk about how he's trying to get himself together in fashion, and he's trying to be cool.
Yeah.
He starts to collect ties. He managed to collect 400 ties.
Holy shit.
But as times change, what's so funny is he has big 70s ties, and they changed to skinny 80s ties.
Yeah.
Fucking mess.
And then went back to in between skinny and fat.
Yeah, he's like, this sucks. You can't collect ties like that. They go out of fashion real quick.
Yeah.
So he's collecting ties, but this is considered successful to him. He's wrestling. He doesn't have to drive the scrap truck, and he's got a closet full of ties.
All right.
Success,
Killing
baby.
it.
His fucking cock is out, and his boombox is on his shoulder.
His cock's got a farmer's tan from being halfway out.
Yeah. And that's what it is.
The tip of it's still white, but the base is so tan.
So tan.
So tan.
Bronze. He says also that this is the thing, too, about how shitty this stupid rock and roll gimmick was.
Yeah.
This is how dumb this was. He would put, because Vern Gagne didn't understand modern things because he's from the 40s, he would have to put on his boombox, Buck would have to put, like, music that Vern knew. So he'd have to put, like, Jerry Lee Lewis on in the boombox.
Get out of here.
So he's rock and roll Buck Zumhofe in 1982 wearing a disco suit, a black guy boombox playing music from the 50s.
Playing, what was that song?
Great Balls of Fire.
No, the other one.
Had another song?
Hot Chickaroo.
Hot Chickaroo. He's playing Hot Chickaroo by Mickey Dora's buddy, Ricky Wayne. Hot Chickaroo. Check out episode 71, I think. Mickey Dora. That's what he's doing. Hot Chickaroo. So this is a confused gimmick. If you're in the crowd, you're like, well, he's playing Great Balls of Fire. He's dressed like Travolta, and he's wearing he's got a boombox. I saw a black guy in the city. Like, what the fuck is going on with this asshole? But the people fucking love this guy. The people loved him.
The people of Minnesota were just as confused.
They were confused. He got over as like a major, like a good guy. They loved him. Like the people cheered for him. Kids loved him.
Really?
Women loved him.
Jesus.
Women love this jackass. He looks so stupid too. There's no way you could love him. He's in the opening match getting beat all the time.
Right.
Then actually at this point, he actually starts to get a little success in the AWA. They start to like him so much. He's in tag team matches with Hulk Hogan throughout this period.
Really?
It's Hulk Hogan, Buck Zumhofe, and Tito Santana, who's a WWF star for forever and ever, and Intercontinental Champ and all this shit, and Buck Zumhofe. It's the weirdest thing. You get tags with Andre the Giant a couple times when he comes through the territory. This is when Hulk Hogan takes over the AWA. This is before he goes to New York. Yeah. This is before he becomes WWF champion and becomes all of this shit. Yeah. This is right after Rocky III came out. He was in Rocky III, as we know, tossing Sylvester Stallone. This made him a massive star in wrestling. Massive. None of these guys were in mainstream movies. Nobody would use a wrestler in mainstream movies. Actually, Stallone's always been very good about that. Yeah. He used Terry Funk in Over the Top. Yeah. He's in that. He ripped his shit arm off. He didn't have to arm wrestle Terry Funk, but he threw him through a door, a glass door in the hotel scene. Right. So anyway, Hulk Hogan is involved in this whole thing. This is when he's getting huge, and he's making the AWA insanely popular. Yeah. AWA nationally is getting big attention right now because of Hulk Hogan. So much so that they actually have this huge show, because they try to have super shows back then. Now they have pay-per-views, they have WrestleMania, everybody would hear about. Back then they would try to have a super show, which was like, once a year they'd have a big show. They'd do it at a stadium or something, and they try to get their big crowd.
Shit, yeah.
Because there was no pay-per-view. It was just all live. You got to get a big
payment at some point.
Absolutely. Right. So April 23rd, 1983, AWA does a big show called Super Sunday. And it's at the Minneapolis. It's in Minneapolis at the St. Paul Civic Center, and it's sold out, 20,000 people, and tons of closed circuit too. Really? They were selling closed circuit all over Minneapolis.
That's awesome.
It's thousands more. Yeah. This was like their biggest gate ever.
It's like the original pay-per-view.
That's what they used to do for pay-per-view. They do closed circuits. They used to do it with boxing too. Okay. They do that, and you go to a movie theater or an arena, and you'd sit and watch
Just have a closed circuit there.
Yeah, it was before pay-per-view. They really didn't start doing pay-per-views till about 85 with the WrestleMania, and because people didn't have cable, they didn't have a box that was accessible. It was the late 80s till really a lot of people started having access to pay-per-view. So they did this. It's a huge deal. This also has this match, the culmination, the main event is Hulk Hogan versus Nick Bockwinkel. And this is Hulk Hogan trying to get the championship. And it's like this huge culmination. They doubled the ticket prices for this because they've been waiting for it for so fucking long.
Is this his first championship?
This is for trying to get his first one in AWA before he went to WWF and all that stuff and beat the Iron Sheik and slammed Andre the Giant and did whatever. Became what he is now. Right. On this card, Buck is here. Buck is on the card. Buck wrestles in the opening match against a guy named Steve Regal. Yeah, and they're feuding for the newly invented light heavyweight championship belt. that basically Vern Gagne invented for Buck Zumhofe.
Really?
Gave him talk about a silver-haired middle-aged white man.
No doubt.
Give him a belt. So he wrestles this idiot named Steve Regal, who's a terrible wrestler. He's fucking annoying and awful, and I hated watching this match because Buck is terrible, he's terrible, and you want to punch both of them.
Yeah.
Fucking awful. Buck wins the match at 8 minutes, 37 seconds, like anyone gives a shit. So, June 19th, 1983, it's a couple months later, they have Buck win the AWA light heavyweight title. So this asshole adds a belt to his
what the fuck?
to his outfit. Now he's got a stupid jumpsuit, a dumb shit boombox, and a belt
and it's
that
all
covers
legit.
his dick. Yeah.
It's all legitimized at this point because of that.
Maybe they just gave him the belt to cover up the top of his dick from
That's what it is.
crotch
So like,
pants.
look, your farmer's tan dick is out.
It's out, dude. We can't
Jesus.
have this shit.
Cover it with all this gold.
Yes. So he wins it from a guy named Mike Graham, who is the son of a legendary promoter down in Florida named Eddie Graham, and seems like a real douchebag from everything I've seen on Mike Graham. Wins it from him. After that, he heads to Portland.
Yeah.
He still has the AWA title, but he's going around to do a little run in Portland. I know he's in Portland as a matter of fact. I know for a fact that he's in Portland in late summer of 83 because of something that happens in May of 84. You can do the math there and figure out exactly what that is. So I am positive he's there for the summer of 83, at least September-ish, we'll
Somewhere
say.
around there.
Somewhere around there. Absolutely. 1984, he works more in the AWA, remains champion through 84. Goes to Central States, which is Kansas City, which is like the worst, known as the worst territory in the history of wrestling. Everybody hated it. Goes to St. Louis, goes to World Class in Texas, which is another one that had major coverage on ESPN and all that sort of thing. AWA got popular, and how I know about them is from ESPN when I was a kid. When I was a kid, you get home from school in like second grade, and it was on right after school. And so I'd watch it and be like, this guy's fucking terrible. Buck Zumhofe sucks. But I'd watch it because I'd watch any wrestling when I was
brilliant
little.
programming.
It is. It was perfect.
You
and
put
then
it right there.
Then they'd have like monster truck racing after that.
So
I was like,
great.
this is a 2-hour block, baby.
bet.
Wrestling, monster truck racing.
Fuck
Let's fucking
homework.
do this. Fuck homework, which is why I do this instead of having a respectable job.
Thanks a lot, Zumhofe.
Thanks, Zumhofe, you asshole. So he's in Portland. Like I said, then he's back in 84, AWA, World Class. World Class is where the Von Erichs are from, which is the most tragic story in the history of wrestling. Horrible. Have you heard anything about the Von Erichs?
I believe through you.
Okay, probably through this.
Yeah.
The Von Erichs are a family of wrestlers. Fritz Von Erich is their Vern Gagne. Guy who came back and started a territory in the 50s and everybody else did. He had a Nazi gimmick where he would... Yes,
brilliant.
There was a lot of those, by the way, Nazi gimmicks, where you were the bad guy because you would literally have an iron cross on your cape.
Who's the most hated people in history?
In the 50s, especially. And you goose step around the ring for a bunch of guys who just fought in World War II 10 years ago that want to kill you.
So like, fuck that guy.
Yeah. Fritz has a bunch of sons, and all of them die except one of them. I think he has 6 sons.
Yeah.
They're all fucking dead. One dies as a little kid. One has like a drug overdose or a stomach problem in Japan.
God,
and
Jesus.
3 of them kill themselves.
Yeah.
I think 3 of them, Mike, Kerry, and one of the others.
Yes, I do remember this story.
Yeah, and there's one guy left. Kerry was in the WWF for a while. He was the Texas Tornado, which he was the Intercontinental Champion for a while. He blew his brains out with his father's gun in the woods because he was going to have to go to jail for prescription fraud.
Jesus.
Because he was a hardcore drug addict.
Yeah, because of what
they were all
what they're
hardcore
put
drug
through
addicts.
in this fucking.
They were. I have a great Vern for you, by the way, later on. Remind me to fill you in on the demise of Vern Gagne at the end of the story. Because it's funny as shit.
All right.
Actually.
Good.
This guy's dementia is hilarious.
Really?
Oh, it's the best. I'll just
died
tell
of
you
dementia?
now. No. He died. He was in an old folks home, and he had Alzheimer's, and it was dementia, and he's like 85 years old.
Yeah.
But you still have like instincts and shit that you do. He almost killed another old man.
What?
Because he
fucking wrestling
fucking
moved him?
took him down. He got mad at him and literally
and he wrestling moved him.
Doped his ass up, took him down, and he knows like all these Olympic
Yeah.
moves, and he fucking hurt this poor old man really
Holy
bad.
shit.
I can't remember if he killed him or if he almost killed him, but he was like, it was a bad thing. But they couldn't like bring him away. He was like 85 years old and didn't know
like,
his
I
ass
didn't
from
do
his
that.
elbow, so he
Who,
didn't
what?
know. He was just like, yeah, he wanted to get in the ring with me, and they were like, I think he's out of it. Let's just put him back in his room. Let's just give him extra.
Let's just put him back in his cage and give him some new pudding.
Extra medicine.
Yeah.
He'll be okay. So he's down in Texas a lot.
Horrible.
He's gonna. The fact that reason I bring all this up is to bring up the culture in Texas for something that's going to happen very soon. This all has a reason. I'm not just giving groundwork for nothing here.
March covering his travel itinerary for nothing.
Yeah, no, I'm not covering that shit for nothing. All this means something. March 25th, 1984, he loses his light heavyweight title to Steven Regal, the aforementioned douchebag asshole. In Texas, he went teams with Iceman King Parsons, who was this cool black dude with crazy hair.
Sounds like it.
He had like weird kind of a mohawky thing with braids and shit. It was a mess. But yeah, he had real charismatic guy, Iceman King Parsons. Goes there. They win some tag titles. I think it was the America's tag team titles.
Okay.
Not their main one, but like their second level tag belts, because they were tiny guys, both of them. Now, 1985, he's mainly in AWA. Pretty much. He also goes to World Class down in Texas and goes to Jim Crockett, which is in North Carolina, which is where Ric Flair and all those guys are. Also in Continental, which I believe is the shithole Alabama territory. So now 1985, he's mainly in the AWA. He's also in Texas, goes down World Class a little bit again. Jim Crockett, like I said, Continental. He's not in AWA for some reason. On September 28th, 1985, they have a huge card in Comiskey Park, the baseball stadium in Chicago where the White Sox play. It's Super Clash is the name of it, and it's a bunch of guys from different...
That sounds awesome.
It's cool. Like, they have the Texas guys, they have the, different organizations. They all kind of come together. This is an attempt to fight Vince McMahon off. This is Vince McMahon did WrestleMania in April of March of '85.
WrestleMania, that sounds stupid.
And
Super
it was a
Clash,
huge hit.
Fuck yeah!
And they went, oh fuck,
that's what we've got to do.
They said literally, we need to do a big show because he had Mr. T on, and it was a huge deal.
Yeah.
This show here, they got all the other promoters said, okay, we need to get together and join forces to compete with that asshole because
let's Voltron this.
Yeah, because he's taking all his guys.
Yeah.
This is when Vince McMahon came in. This is when the AWA is on the downslope. Super Sunday was Grace. 1983, that's Grace for Buck Zumhofe.
Really?
That's Grace for the AWA. That is Grace.
All right.
Top of the mountain. After that, Vince McMahon comes in, steals everybody.
Shit.
Everybody worth stealing. Takes Hulk Hogan. Takes Bobby the Brain Heenan.
Takes Slaughter.
Mean Gene Okerlund.
Yeah.
No, Slaughter was already up into WWF.
He was already up there?
Yeah. He had been in there in 81, 82 fighting Patterson and doing a bunch of shit. Steamboat went to Mid-Atlantic. He was in with Crockett and those guys.
Jesus.
But Iron Sheik...
Anybody that had a great
and
gimmick.
Worth the shit. Iron Sheik, like I said, Iron Sheik, Hulk Hogan, all these guys.
Iron Sheik, that gimmick is so fucking good that he still runs it and he doesn't even wrestle. He's still got it on Twitter.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I mean, to steal Hulk Hogan and to steal these guys was a huge, big deal. And to steal Mean Gene Okerlund.
What kind of money must it have been?
Oh, it was huge. It was big money. It was big money, for then. I mean,
it's
he's
a
not
guarantee
making...
you're going to be a fucking household name forever.
Yeah, I'm going to take you, and he told Hulk Hogan too. I'm going to take you to New York, and you're going to be the star. Yeah. You're going to be my guy.
Your daughter's going to have a pop fucking career,
even though she has no talent.
She has nothing.
You can push out a talentless
child.
Your
son's going to kill somebody. It won't even matter.
I was going to say your daughter could have your children could be talentless and murdering, and it doesn't even fucking matter.
Doesn't matter.
It's still going to be
everybody's going to love you.
No problem. So that's what happened. He stole them. He stole Bobby the Brain Heenan. These are all huge cogs. Basically just destroyed Vern's business. I mean, fucking ravaged it, losing all those guys. It was terrible. So they're trying to put something together with the remaining people who are left on all these other territories. Yeah. They have Super Clash in 85. For some reason, Buck is not on the card. I don't know where the hell he is, but you'd think he would want to be there for a big show like that. Probably made a few extra bucks. November 28th, 1985, he wins the title back from Steve Regal, the light heavyweight title of the AWA. He talks a lot in this time about ribs, about jokes they play on each other in wrestling. They call ribs. And
I was like, what?
There's a lot of fucked up ones.
Gets a little hungry, does he?
Yeah, no, he's like, I like ribs a lot. Tell you, I really like ribs.
Can we talk about your match tonight? First, let's talk about ribs.
First, I want to talk about barbecue.
Is there anything ribs around here?
What do you know about barbecue, first
What's
of all?
What's the best place in town to get ribs?
He tells a story about Kurt Hennig. You guys know Kurt Hennig.
Yeah.
He's Mr. Perfect.
Yeah.
He was for a long time. That's where he started out, was the AWA. His dad is Larry the Axe Hennig, who was one of the biggest stars in the AWA.
Okay.
And he's a second-generation guy, and he started out there, and he was actually there until 1988. He stayed.
Okay.
He is the biggest joke player in wrestling history.
Really?
One of, considered. Yeah, he loves to fuck with people.
Okay.
And I guess he would fuck with Buck quite a bit because he fucked with everybody.
Buck is stupid and
he'd
thought
see him with
that outfit was
and they'd be
good.
like, look at this fucking jackass.
This fucking idiot. That's
Jesus,
a rube.
They gave him a belt?
Yeah.
The fucking moron. So he said that he said he's never forgiven Hennig for this one. Buck got a phone call from a girl who was supposed to wanted to meet him at a parking lot.
Wow.
And so Buck got all dressed up and went out to the parking lot and waited for 2 hours, and nobody ever came. And found out it was Kurt Hennig afterwards. Because I guess when next night Kurt was like, "How is that girl?" And he's like, "Hey, fuck you! Like, how'd you know about that?" Because the girl called.
How's the view from the parking lot?
He's just sitting around like, let's call this guy and fuck with him. Why not? Like, he's a jerk off with a stupid outfit and a dumb boombox.
Let's call him and set up a date, and then we'll just go about our day.
Sure. What the hell? See what happens there. Ridiculous.
That's
like,
something that you never forgive somebody for?
Never.
You're
That's
stupid enough to go out into a parking lot and wait.
Buck's done much worse that I'll never, ever fucking forgive him for. They used to do crazy shit, these guys. Like, they'd be going to, like, Canada, and they'd know, like, they had another carload of guys behind them, so they'd be like, hey, the guys behind them, I think they got a bunch of drugs.
That's the shit.
So, like,
That's
they would go up their ass. The one they would do to... Actually, this happened to Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty, who we're going to talk about in a minute. Shawn Michaels, everybody has probably heard of, even if you're not a wrestling fan. They had a car, and apparently I think this was a Mr. Fuji, and this one might not have been Mr. Fuji, but one of these, what they did was, Fuji would do is, you'd come out to your car and start it up, nothing would happen.
Right.
The fuck is going on? Go pop the hood, whole fucking engine be gone.
What?
Whole entire fucking engine.
The whole engine
empty hood. Not a spark plug, whole engine, empty hood.
He didn't take the coil wire.
No.
He took a whole 440 out of a truck.
And they'd sit there and go, what the fuck are we going to do now? And they'd sit there, and then Fuji would have somebody come and put it back. He would pay for it.
What? That's an expensive prank.
It is, but he would do it on purpose.
Hilarious.
He's the guy, I think I told the story last time, where he's a Japanese guy, Fuji, or he'd play a Japanese manager, and whenever anybody come in from Japan, they'd stick him with him as like, you take care of him and translate for him and shit like that. He took the guy, the arena was 20 minutes from his house. He took him on a fucking 6-hour journey, made the guy drive and was like, it's a long trip, go this way. 6 hours. They finally get to the arena. They wrestle. And Fuji's like, I'll drive home. 20 minutes. They pull into the driveway. And the guy's like, what the fuck?
That's a prank.
We drove for 6 fucking hours.
That's a solid prank.
But the fact that this guy would sit in the car too for 6 hours just to play a trick on this guy.
He's willing to fuck his whole day just to fuck them.
Just to fuck with this guy. It's incredible. Incredible. So
that's amazing.
Unreal. So April 20th, 1986 is a card called Wrestle Rock. Mm-hmm. Okay. This might be the stupidest thing ever. It's in the Metrodome, the Hubert H. Humphrey Metrodome, where the Twins and the Vikings played forever before they finally knocked that shithole to the fucking earth because it's a dump. They promote this just insanely heavy. This is all they talk about for fucking months.
What's their stadium now?
I don't know what it's for some corporate. Who the fuck knows? I don't know.
Right.
Corporate. I think it's Target Field. I think it's Target because Target's based in Minneapolis.
Okay.
So this is in response to WrestleMania 2, which was a big thing. They did 3 cities and the whole deal. So they decided to have a show at the Hubert H. Humphrey Metrodome called Wrestle Rock.
Okay.
Now Wrestle Rock. The idea here is the WWF had gone and done. They had Rock and Wrestling. They were on MTV. Mm-hmm. Hogan and Piper were on MTV. Cyndi Lauper came out with Wendy Richter to the ring.
So mainstream.
It got real mainstream. Captain Lou Albano was in one of Cyndi Lauper's videos.
Fucking face pierced.
Face all pierced up. So they said, well, let's do a show with a rock concert afterwards.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
Yeah.
This sounds great. We'll get somebody
Mass
real
appeal.
hot. Mass appeal. So they get Waylon Jennings.
Jesus.
Which that is not in 1986.
That's not your guy.
That's not your guy. Not exactly your guy. But they keep doing it. This is the last stadium show the AWA will ever have. It's going downhill.
Yeah.
I believe they get 23,000 people to show up to this show in a 60,000 seat stadium.
Yeah.
Which, whatever, that's a good gate and all that sort of thing. The stupidest thing about this is the promotion for it. There is a song that they have the wrestlers rap from 1986.
No.
And it's called the Wrestle Rock Rumble.
Oh, Jesus.
Do yourself a favor right now. Don't wait. Pause this. Go to YouTube. Look up Wrestle Rock Rumble and fucking play it. And fucking play it.
Is
and
Buck
then come
in
back.
it?
Buck somehow rock and roll Buck Zumhofe isn't in the Wrestle Rock Rumble song.
How do you not put the guy that
because no one gives a shit about him? There was like a picture of him.
Music.
Yeah, but they had They have Shawn Michaels is rapping in it, and Larry Zbyszko, and a 60-year-old Nick Bockwinkel is rapping in it. It is a guy who you can't even understand, some 400-pound guy. It's Jerry Blackwell. It's fucking
so depressing.
It's the worst thing you've ever seen. It's 80s outside of a casino in Vegas. It's awesome because they used to tape their TV there. Anyway, look that up. Do yourself a favor.
Horrible.
Somehow Buck gets no verse. I don't know how. Whatever. He fights a Japanese guy named Tiger Mask, who's a very famous Japanese wrestler. That night, he's beaten by Tiger Mask in 11 minutes. Non-title match.
Tiger Mask?
Tiger Mask. It came from a cartoon. Okay. There was a cartoon called Tiger Mask, and the Japanese people made a mask and a wrestler out of it.
Jesus.
And apparently it's still a gimmick to this day.
Really?
They pass it on. There's been 20 different Tiger masks.
Dude.
You're Tiger Mask now. It's just a gimmick, not the guy.
Yeah.
So they get a guy who's about the same size, who does the same moves, and they go, now you're Tiger Mask. Boom.
I mean, you could do that with Rey Mysterio.
Yeah.
You could do that with a lot of different guys.
Yeah, he was an amazing wrestler, though.
Really?
Back in the day, Tiger Mask used to do crazy shit that no one else did.
Okay.
He'd do moonsaults and crazy shit off the road in the 80s when no one else was doing that.
He was the first Rey Mysterio.
He was he was the guy that kind of brought that style that people saw it the first time in America was to him when he was fighting Dynamite Kid in Madison Square Garden in the early 80s. It's a long story. Anyway, so 1986, we talk about the Rockers, who are the Midnight Rockers in AWA, who are Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty. And they were my favorites when I was a little kid, by the way. One of my favorites, because they were a tag team, and they fought these other guys who looked like child molesters, a fat guy and a guy who looked like he drove a van very slow without any ice cream in it, put it that way.
But that song was going.
That song was going. They were managed by Sherry Martel, actually, who you might remember from early 90s WWF, being Scary Sherry, being Macho Man's manager and Ted DiBiase's manager.
All right, I got you then.
She's a tough broad. Anyway, the Rockers here, Marty Jannetty tells a story about walking in on Buck Zumhofe with two girls at the same time.
Okay.
Right? So someone asked Buck about this in an interview, and he says...
Buck was 0-2 open with it.
Oh, boy. He said, him bragging about women will make you hate him even more. So I got to put it in there. Buck says about this, in their own words, quote...
So one of them sucking my dick, right?
He says, in their own words, quote... That would have been funny. Well, it was true. What can I say? I mean, it wasn't anything all the boys weren't doing, and I had my girlfriends, and, I'm a man. I can talk about this, no problem. I've had dozens of girlfriends.
Jesus.
So he's just like, girls love me.
Yeah.
Girls love me. So he takes his beloved by women ass down to Texas in 86 to work for World Class. I know this for a fact because there's something that happens there, and let's get into it.
Okay.
July 1986. Buck is forced to vacate the AWA light heavyweight title because he's not going to be around for a little while, because he's going to be busy because he's arrested for sexual misconduct with a minor in Texas. A fucking minor.
I mean, if they're going to do it in a place and do something terrible like that, at least go somewhere where the penalty is fucking stiff.
And also, too, this is rumor is that it's a 14 or 15-year-old girl. This is not a 17-year-old girl.
This is not she said she was 18 or I thought so.
This is
14 or
I'm
15.
fucking a child.
Jesus.
So this is while he was holding the title, like I said. He's eventually convicted of 4th-degree sexual assault with a minor. With this whole thing.
Degrees?
Ridiculous. Now, we have some backstory on this whole thing here. This is from a guy named Gary Hart. Gary Hart is an old wrestling manager and just an old, crazy, tough son of a bitch.
Yeah.
He's this real bald guy, real scary-looking guy, and he managed all the bad guys. And he looked like a tough old bastard. He says, quote, and this is about the whole thing with Buck and everything. He says, quote, I don't know if Ken Mantell, who was the world-class booker, didn't know any better about Buck or if he just didn't check people out before he brought them in. But Buck had a predilection for underage girls.
Eesh.
After Ken brought Buck in from the AWA, Buck was found with a young girl living in an abandoned farmhouse which had no electricity close to Ken's place in Decatur, and Buck was eventually sent to jail.
He had a concubine that was... What?
This is the important thing, because this wasn't an incident.
Yeah.
He didn't go out and think she was older than she was and fuck this girl.
He had a sex slave.
He fucking took a fucking sex slave into an abandoned. God, imagine being a poor young girl who's 15 fucking years old, and you're stuck with this asshole with his ass shaking in his stupid outfit and his fucking boombox in a no electricity, abandoned fucking farmhouse in the middle of Texas. Fuck you.
This didn't happen overnight.
No.
This took grooming and effort and lots of words and coaxing to get her to live there for him.
Yeah, well, not even, because I think maybe this girl, she's from some small town in Texas in the 80s, and he shows up and he's like, hey, I'm a big-time guy, and I go all around the country, and you just saw me at the arena, and your parents paid $8. Hot chickaroo.
Let me play this song for you.
Yeah, I've had dozens of girlfriends.
Dozens.
You know him. He's, the girls love him.
So one of them sucking my dick, right?
Yeah. So this asshole, unfucking real with this idiot. I'm just so okay. This is, by the way, this is the least bad thing he'll do.
Really?
In the rest of the story. This is all downhill from here, and you just want to fucking strangle this asshole.
Okay, go on.
From now on. Hate him. He's found guilty down there of fourth-degree sexual misconduct. He's sent to jail in late August 1986, but I know for a fact that he must be out by November. Because on November 27th, 1986, he has a match against Blackjack Mulligan. Okay. So I know for a fact he's out wrestling. Yeah. And by the way, do you think there's any penalty back home for this? No. Do you think silver-haired middle-aged Vern is like, glad you're back, could have used you on the tour?
Welcome back.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened.
Jesus.
Like it never happened. As soon as he's out, right back in the fucking ring.
Horrible.
By the way, this was not considered bad back then for the wrestlers. The wrestlers had a thing of, hey man, that's like part of the deal. Like you go around, you fuck girls.
Sometimes you fuck a child.
Sometimes sometimes they're underage, sometimes whatever.
Sometimes you find a kid.
They brag about how they used to drug women.
What?
And this is in the 80s.
Jesus.
This is guys like Shawn Michaels and shit will talk about this, and like our guys will say about him. And they would basically go, this is the Midnight Rockers. The Rockers, Jannetty and Michaels, were famous for this. I've heard multiple guys talk about this, where they would give the girls halcyons in their drinks.
Yeah.
They'd roofie them.
Yeah.
And then they would take them back to their room, and they would do whatever they wanted with them. And then they would like shave their head and write shit on them in marker and toss them out in the hallway naked.
That's what frat they would do. Pranks on girls that they fucked?
Groupies, frat pranks.
They would rape her and then torture her.
Rape her, then shave half her head, write shit all over her with magic marker, and kick her out. And so she'd wake up naked in the hallway from a drug stupor.
With whore written on half my shaven head.
Exactly.
Wow.
That's what these people would do. That's what kind of pieces of shit these guys are.
Good dudes.
They're good dudes, right? That was considered normal behavior and fine.
Chivalry's not dead.
Nothing wrong with that whatsoever. That's what I mean. So this is the culture we're in. This isn't like he's going to go home and Vern was like, Buck, this is unacceptable. Yeah. I can't have this. Morally. No, he was like, when can you get in the ring? Because, you've only raped one girl.
When you out at 1, I'll have a match for you by 3.
So, he's back by November 86. Mm-hmm. No problem. Nobody minds. No one's even like making fun of him. No one's like, hey, you're fucking 15-year-old girls.
You kid toucher? Nothing?
Nothing. Totally fine. Because all of them... They probably fucked 15-year-old girls, too. Just didn't get caught for it. They probably didn't take him to live with them in an abandoned farmhouse like an asshole. Right. Probably, too. Not that I'm telling him, want the guy to get away with it.
I don't want to give you a blueprint of how to do it.
Let's not, but that's not the way. I'll tell you that right now. 1987, this is the further decline of the AWA. Yeah. They do Super Clash 2. Super Clash 1 was in 85.
It was a huge success.
Huge. It actually was Super Clash 1. Super Clash 2, not so much. It's at the Cow Palace in San Francisco. It is a 2,800 people show. There are 2,800 people there.
That's fantastic.
That's terrible.
No, I mean I want that audience as a comic.
Comedy.
Yeah, that sounds great. But for how big was the venue?
You go to a 20,000 seat building or 10,000 seat building, and you get 2,800. Not good.
Not enough.
And that's terrible. And I wanted to see this so bad when I was 8 years old. You have no fucking idea. Yeah. This was the big rematch between Kurt Hennig and Nick Bockwinkel was going to take place there.
Did
I wanted
you know
to see it so bad.
Only you and 2,800 other people wanted to see it?
We were the only ones that cared. Absolutely. So this was completely dying, the AWA. Yeah. Buck wrestles on that card. It was so sad, too. There's just all these empty seats. It's quiet. Yeah. It's so weird. Buck wrestles Sheik Adnan El-Kaisi, who's a fucking manager. So this guy, he's a wrestler slash manager.
Or he doesn't get to wrestle a wrestler?
But no, he fights El-Kaisi, and it's so funny because Sheik Adnan El-Kaisi, I believe, is the one who is, if I'm not mistaken, he is the guy who is not even slightly Arabic or Sheik at all. He has a Texas accent.
Hilarious.
He's like, I'll tell you one thing. And you're like, huh?
Why are you a Sheik?
On the show, he's blah, 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 blah. But then like in an interview, like off that he's just like, wow, just back then, I'll tell you, like, why did you pick that act? The fuck?
What are you doing?
Yeah, so weird. Anyway, so he loses to Sheik Adnan. He's losing to a manager. He cheated. I watched the match. He cheated, held the rope or tights or some horse shit. Yeah. Anyway, 1987, continues to work for the AWA and even goes to WWF, WWE for a couple matches. Yeah. A couple TV matches where they're going to beat the shit out of him in 3 minutes. Okay. He's going to be one of those guys that gets squashed quickly. The record show, from what I saw, he only worked about 15 matches in 86. I'm sure jail had something to do with that. Yeah. 88, he works about 5 matches, only 1 for the AWA, works about 4 for the WWF, so he's just going in TVs, getting the crap beat out of him. In 88, he loses to guys like him in a tag team, lost to Demolition, who was their big tag team, lost to the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase. He loses to Rick Rude. Remember Ravishing Rick Rude?
At least he's getting beat up by badass dudes.
Well, it's the TV matches where they would just bring a schlub. That you wouldn't even hear him announce him, and then they'd bring a guy in who had music and a whole deal, and he'd beat the guy in 3 minutes. And
it sucks because you have to lose, but you at least... at least a lot of people get to see you lose, I guess. That's the
Buck
word.
said you go in, you get $500 for a 3-minute match.
Yeah. And get slammed by the best in the business.
Good enough. Yeah, that's pretty much what it was. Yeah. That was it for 88 in terms of WWF. Oh, my God, too. AWA had Super Clash 3 in December of 88, which was even worse than Super Clash 2. It was in Chicago. Even less people fucking cared. Nobody cared.
It's like Pokemon Go. Like, dude, every week you're watching it just fall off.
Oh, it was so bad. Wait till you see how bad it gets. We'll talk about it in a minute. But Buck is not on the card there either at Super Clash 3, which is surprising. But there's a reason why he's not on the card. The reason why he's not on the card is because he's arrested.
God damn it.
And charged with fourth-degree sexual misconduct with an underage goddamn girl.
Unbelievable.
Again.
Wow.
2 fucking years is the second time.
2 years in a row.
He's 86 and now 88.
Yeah,
this fucking asshole.
He's the Patriots of fucking children. What the
absolutely,
fuck?
Yeah,
just back to back.
Fucking dynasty.
What a scumbag.
He's a dynasty of kid fucking. So yeah, this is not great. We're hating him already. You know what I mean?
Horrendous.
Yeah, he is at this point he's tried. There's a trial for it on January 23rd.
What state is this?
This is in Minnesota.
Not
in Texas anymore.
Now he's fucking kids in different states.
Different states, border to border, baby, southern and northern. There's a trial on January 23rd, 89. He's convicted of 4th-degree sexual misconduct with a minor, and he is sentenced to 36 months in prison at Stillwater Prison in Stillwater, Minnesota.
Boy, they really give a shit about it.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like all that
much.
I
guess fourth degree
misconduct. There's not enough there.
We're probably lucky he got a 3-year penalty of any sort.
No shit. Doesn't wrestle in 89 at all because he's in prison. Yeah. So it's kind of difficult to wrestle. He's locked up in the beginning of it and to the end. He's released from prison in July of 1990. And by July 20th, 1990, he is working for the AWA again.
Back in it.
He's in a match in East Moline, Illinois on July 20th. That is his first match back. Vern does not give a fuck. Still doesn't give a fuck. We're going to see even more how he doesn't give a fuck. 1990, he has 2 matches in the AWA. That's it, because it was dying. One of the matches is he beats this guy, one of the biggest assholes I've ever seen in a wrestling ring, named the illustrious Johnny Stewart. It's just if you put an annoying guy out there and told him to run around. He's terrible. The worst wrestler I've ever seen in my life. So annoying. He thinks he's Ric Flair. He has a robe and all this shit, and he's just awful, and it made me angry to watch.
For some reason, I picture him as a ginger.
No. Brown hair, try and act like he's cooler than he is, which is not at all.
An annoying guy running around out there. I just picture a ginger. I don't know why. Is that terrible?
It's fine. I understand.
That's what I picture. Somebody with just freckles everywhere and
freckled up,
being annoying.
He beats Johnny Stewart for the light heavyweight title again.
Yeah.
They're giving this guy a belt.
They're giving him a title again.
He just got out of prison a month ago.
For the second time.
For sexual misconduct with an underage girl. I don't know what the fuck they're thinking, but this is the time the AWA had more problems than Buck Zumhofe.
Yeah.
They did the Team Challenge series, which was wrestlers they were in teams of like 8.
Yeah.
And like whenever they would win a match, they would get a point system that would go on a board. It was so complicated.
Yeah.
No one understood. I remember being like 10 going, I don't understand this at all. What's fucking happening?
Point system.
It just flopped. They stopped filming for a while in front of actual crowds because they couldn't get crowds.
Because nobody would show up.
So they tried to film in a movie. They call it the Pink Room of Doom. It's
Oh, my
called.
God.
And it's a room with like these pink walls that you could like green screen shit onto.
Yeah.
And their plan was to green screen in an audience.
Oh, my God.
Real bad stuff. It looks, and it didn't work technically.
No, because you'd be able to see it.
So these are empty rooms with a guy. There's guys fighting in a small pink room in a ring with no people, and that's the match. And that was on national television on ESPN.
Unbelievable.
Unreal. Look up Pink Room of Doom, AWA.
Feel bad for yourselves for actually putting that shit out.
Wow.
Like if you zoomed out too far, you'd see the
sides.
corners of the room.
You see the whole room. There's no way of hiding it.
But I'm saying, like, if they were to green screen in an audience, when you zoom out, those corners are going to angle the shit out of your audience.
God,
and you're going to be like, that shit's fake. What is that?
It's not going to work.
Yeah, what's going on with that dude's face?
It.
His face has got...
It's going to look... you know what crowd looks like behind a wrestling ring, and it doesn't look like this flat thing on a wall.
The corners in the room would fuck the audience
up. It would
up.
fuck it. I mean, it was like a sound stage.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a bedroom. It was like a sound stage, so it was a big wall in the back, but it was the worst looking thing ever. 91, he goes, only has 2 matches with the AWA because the AWA shuts down in 91. They fold in mid 91.
Yeah.
Vern Gagne's silver-haired middle-aged white man. He has a sad end too.
Yeah.
Not only with the retirement home, but he has a huge house on Lake Minnetonka.
Yeah.
And they took his house eminent domain to build a park.
Oh,
so there's
what?
a huge park there now on Lake Minnetonka.
And
that was his property.
Benefited nothing from it.
I mean, they gave him whatever they gave him, but it wasn't enough. He went bankrupt suing.
Sure.
He went bankrupt suing to get his to get them to not take his property. Like he put everything he could into it. That's why he had to fold the AWA because they took his property.
He's getting heckled in the old folks' home.
Well,
Heard you lost everything, and then he's putting him in the hurt.
Well, 91. That's why he had to close the AWA because he was borrowing against his property to fund it because it was losing money and they couldn't.
Sucks.
So he had to get rid of it. It was a mess. Anyway, Buck wrestles 2 matches there. Last deal wrestles 5 with the WWF at that point. Fights Sergeant Slaughter, who he trained with, which he knew him. That must have been neat. He fights the Undertaker in 91. He's the first guy to be put in a body bag by the Undertaker.
Awesome.
He's the first guy the Undertaker zipped up in a body bag, which is his gimmick for a while.
Wish it was for real.
Wish it was for real so fucking much.
God damn it.
Oh, that would have been the best. 92, he works about 7 matches with WWF. He fights, he does Razor Ramon, Bam Bam Bigelow, Yokozuna, who's a giant. The match is on YouTube of him and Yokozuna. Watching this fucking moron flail his little self at a 600-pound Samoan man pretending to be Japanese is the funniest fucking thing you're ever going to see in your life. He just tosses him around, crushes him in the corner, sits on his fucking chest. You're like, crush that asshole. You wish it was real so much
That's
at that
how
point.
stupid Americans are. They're just like, he's totally Japanese.
Yeah, look, his eyes are all slanty. I'm sure he's Japanese. It's fine. Yeah, he's with that other guy who also says he's Japanese, who he's not.
We're so dumb.
Oh, God. 93, he has 0 matches in a major organization.
Yeah.
94, he just does indies, little independent wrestling gigs. He's, county fairs and car lot parking lots and shit like that, making $30.
I loved Razor Ramon, by the way.
Oh, Razor Ramon was great.
Awesome. That fucking little curl he had.
He's also in the Wrestle Rock Rumble, by the way.
Really?
Him and Kurt Hennig, Mr. Perfect, were tag team partners and champions at the time, and they have their own little verse. And it's fucking bad. It's so funny.
Oh, no, really?
It's so hilarious.
Really?
Yeah. No, it's bad. You got to watch the Wrestle Rock Rumble. We'll post it on our social media, too.
Wait.
It's amazing. 95, he has a couple matches with the WWF, does a few indies. Triple H he loses to Triple H in Triple H's television debut for WWE.
Really?
His first match in public here.
He beats Buck Zumhofe. Monster in that shit now.
He's the owner's daughter's husband. He basically runs the place.
He's the son-in-law of the shit.
Yep, that's it. That's the best way to put it. The son-in-law. Yeah, and he is Pauly Shore.
Yeah.
So 96, he has 1 match with the WWF, losing to the British Bulldog. So we know a lot of guys seen him there. So British Bulldog loses to him. That's also a sad match of just him getting pummeled by somebody.
Really?
Now, late 1990s has some minor legal issues. He's got a living girlfriend. that he has some problems with. The cops are called a bunch of times. He has some domestic violence.
Smacks her around a little.
Smacks her around. He has some domestic violence issues there. He's arrested a couple of times.
Fucking asshole.
In the late 90s. At this point, he's working as a forklift operator.
Wow.
In the shipping department of a turkey manufacturer, a turkey distributor.
He's working for like Jenny O somewhere.
Yeah, that's what it is. He's working for like that sort of thing, like working for like Foster's, like forklift
Foster's
operating
Farms.
Turkey. Yeah. So shit has changed. Shit has changed.
Deal with that. You're moving turkey carcasses around.
And the worst. In 1999, he has a conviction for violating a domestic violence order of protection in Candiari. I know I said that wrong. Don't correct me, Minnesota. Candiari County, involving his girlfriend that he broke up with. So he gets convicted of that.
Over in Candy-ass County.
Yeah, I mean, Jesus Christ, that's two 15-year-old girls. He's abusing a girl. He's countless fucking crowds he has just shit on.
He's terrible.
He's not giving Vern Gagne 10% of his money.
Not.
I feel bad for all these people, Jimmy. I feel bad for all these people.
You found a Eugene fuck, or
But
did you find a rock and roll?
Not nearly as bad as I feel for these people here. No Eugene or Otto Zumhofe, but these are people with the last name Zumhofe that live in the Minneapolis area.
Right.
Bad enough.
They're probably relatives.
Charlotte Zumhofe, food and beverage company owner in St. Cloud, Minnesota. Beth Zumhofe, who's an admin at the Jackson County Sheriff in Kansas City, Missouri. Like, don't look at my last name, please. And Jeff Zumhofe, rock and roll Jeff Zumhofe, owner of Zumhofe GMP Services, Inc., a pharmaceutical company in the greater Minneapolis area.
Owner of a business
in Minneapolis.
With the last name of Zumhofe.
Poor bastard. 1998. Remember when he was in Portland in 83? 1998. Buck is approached about a possible daughter that he might have.
18 years later.
Well, no, this is 15 years later.
15
83.
Years,
14 is
I'm
now.
A great mathematician.
She said that Zumhofe had a one-night stand with her mother back in 1983 in Portland.
Yeah.
Her date of birth is May 6th, 1984, and so she comes to Buck in 88.
Yeah.
Buck has a paternity test before he does anything.
Just because he thinks she's hot.
Probably, yeah. So he's like, maybe I'll bang her. So figures out, gets a paternity test, and he ends up contacting the school that she goes to see if he could set up a meeting with her to meet through the school. So she, in 1998, spends spring break with her father. Yeah. Never met him before.
Yeah.
First time, she's 15 years old, spends spring break with him. That must have been nice for her.
Yeah.
1999 comes around, and Buck says that he wants to reunite with his family. And he invites her to move in with him. Yeah. Says he wants to, connect with her as his daughter. She ends up in a month. She moves in with him in his home in New London, Minnesota.
What?
So I mean, her whole life she's probably sitting there going, "My dad's out there. My dad's out there. I just want my dad."
I can relate.
I got my dad, and wow, he was like a wrestler and stuff. That's pretty cool. My mom said, whatever. Right. I mean, her mom was a groupie.
Right.
I mean, that's the way it works here. Now. So much so, he's so happy that in 2000, he starts a company called Buck's Rock and Roll Wrestling Company. He's a promoter now in a wrestling company with his daughter. Wow. His daughter helps him run the business, and he also trains his daughter in wrestling.
As a wrestler.
His promotion features mainly females and midgets. So it's like a novelty thing. And, of course... Buck gets in there in his fucking suit with his boombox.
Throwing
50 years old.
Some midgets around.
Like a fucking moron. They run Fridays and Saturdays. They claim they work 140 to 160 shows a year.
Jesus.
That's what they claim. Buck says that he doesn't miss... in 11 years, he never missed a weekend.
Yeah.
Always working. They run shows in Minnesota, Iowa, Illinois, Wisconsin, and North and South Dakota. So that upper... area where it's cold and people have nothing to do.
Yeah.
I don't blame him.
170 shows?
140 to 160.
140 to 160 shows.
That's a lot.
At like $50 a show.
That's what it is.
It's got to be like $5,000 a year.
Yeah, it's got to be like forklift money, Like he'd make more in the forklift,
He's got
to
be killing it.
Now, here's an article about the rock and wrestling, the rock and roll wrestling that I found. It's kind of advertising a future match from like 2010.
All right.
It's going to be at the Eagles Club. Says it's filled with 5 wrestlers, one who is 7'1", 400 pounds, and another who is a female midget.
And another who's a child molester.
And a child molester. Zumhofe himself, his daughter, her name is Heather, by the way. She's going by Heather Matthews Zumhofe. She goes by a bunch of other different names. We'll get to the worst one of all. Zumhofe is like I said, the owner. He's saying that his daughter's like a bad guy, and so his daughter is fighting a midget at the end of the fight, and his daughter's going to get like a little out of hand. He's telling him what's going to happen. He's like, my daughter's going to kind of get a little too much.
She's going to throw this little midget out the ring.
Someone's going to come out and protest it and save him and that sort of thing. That's how they get a little storyline going.
Save it. Save the midget?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Save that midget. He said that everyone's going to get real mad, and he said members of the audience are going to get out of their chairs. I'm telling you, they're going to be upset. They're going to want to come beat my daughter up. So
we're going to make this a crime against humanity.
It is.
And the audience is going to save the day. What?
That's right.
How about the midget saves
disgusting.
the day?
So he says it's about fun. People are free to shout and holler during the show. Well, no shit. He's just going through the whole thing. He said it's been 11 years. We know what we're doing. This is great. We do all these shows. We haven't had a weekend off in 11 years. He says we give the fans their money's worth. No customers ever complained. Nobody's ever wanted their money back. The whole deal. His daughter, by 2010, is 25 years old, and she started wrestling in high school when he took her in.
Sure.
She was 16 years old. She started wrestling. He trained her immediately. That's going to be at the Eagles Club somewhere in Minnesota for some reason. Now, tickets, $9, $7 in advance, $9 at the door for something like that.
Bargain in 2006.
My whole thing was I was wondering, what does something like that cost?
Right.
You know what I mean? So, we have an explanation from him on this in their own words on why this is successful. In their own words, quote, I believe the reason we're still doing well around here is because we're tapping into a lot of people who remember All-Star Wrestling, which is what the AWA show is called. So I use that all the time when I ask people, do you remember All-Star Wrestling? I was the guy with the big radio. And they say, oh, yeah, I remember you. So that makes it an easier sell. You still have the radio. That's sadder.
Yeah.
No.
You know what makes it an easier sell is when you say, I'm so-and-so. And they go, yeah, that name I recognize.
Yeah,
he says,
that
I
dipshit.
was the guy with the radio.
The big radio. Not great. Not great at all.
That's fucking embarrassing.
His daughter's pretty much his main star here.
Yeah.
Her debut was April 29th, 2000. And she's been, his big draw, which he's, making her the big draw.
Right.
She goes by either Heather Hallberg, which I think is what she's wrestling under now, Heather Zumhofe when she wants to probably tag with her dad or something, or her main name throughout this whole promotion, which was, quote, Heather Marie the Virgin.
Yeesh.
They called her the Virgin. Okay. Here's in their own words about Buck talking about his push of his daughter here. He's in their own words, quote, plus we have the lovely ladies who wrestle, including my daughter, the Virgin, who has made quite a name for herself in our company. Boy, people call me for her all the time because they want to see the Virgin. She's a big show for us. Plus we have our own set of midgets that we use regularly. That sounds amazing. Tell me you don't want your own set of midgets, Jimmy. Just a little troop of them. You could dispatch wherever you want.
He should have at least named them the Oompa Loompas. That would
have been even better.
At minimum, give them a kick-ass nickname. Other than, plus we got this little troop of
got these midgets, man. Pretty cool that we use. We have our own set,
our own set of midgets.
Own set, like he owns them. Like
we have a complete
ratchets.
set.
Yeah, it's like a ratchet set. What do you need? A 3/8? I got it. I got a whole set over here.
We have our own set of midgets. We collected the whole set. We didn't miss one. Every week we went to McDonald's, got a new one out of the Happy Meal. We got the whole set. We caught them all.
We got everything. So in addition to this, he's also wrestling kind of outside the loop a little bit, or this might be his company. March 26, 2011, he loses to the Honky Tonk Man.
He did?
In Duluth, Minnesota.
How about that? He's
still out there.
The two music guys.
Yeah, except his was actually Honky Tonk Man, had like a guitar and an Elvis jumpsuit. He had like a thing, not just a dipshit. He's better. Anyway.
It wasn't made on his own and a boombox that he stole.
Yeah. 2011, he does this long interview with highspots.com, which they do a bunch of wrestling shoot interviews, which are, real things out of character. He claims that he's very happy. He and his daughter are running the promotion. They're a great team. One more in their own words here. Plus, he's talking about the ladies. And he says, this is awesome. He says, in their own words, quote, I got my abs back. I'm in good shape and I got a good job. These women, they're, 39, 40, single moms. They don't want me. They want some 20-year-old shithead that works at Walmart.
Oh, God.
I don't think that's actually
that's not true.
But that's not true. I think they just don't want you because you're sad.
And you're old.
You're a very sad man. You're old and you're very sad.
You've aged out of their market.
You have a jumpsuit
The
that is
girls that
pathetic.
want 20-year-old guys are girls that don't want 50-year-old men. That's all. They're
Exactly.
girls. They're young
Exactly.
women. Right. You're not fucking 20-year-olds
No,
anymore. Age
not
out
at
of
all.
it. There's nothing wrong with that.
Not at all. No, that's what it is. Like
It's just life.
It's life.
Yeah.
So June 2011, he's been running this promotion the whole time. His daughter has been running it with him, and they live together, run the promotion. It's like a office business scenario. June 2011, Heather moves out of Buck's house to get married. She finds a man and marries him.
Yeah.
So she moves out. Buck is super, super upset about the whole thing because that's going to take away from wrestling and all this sort of thing. So he says, one more in their own words here on this whole thing with this. He says, in their own words, quote, my daughter, she ran off, got married, wants to get knocked up. I haven't talked to her in months. She deleted me off the website and she won't talk to me, so I have nobody running the business right now.
The website.
The
That's
website.
Facebook.
No, I think he means off of the company website, the Rock and Roll Wrestling.
She deleted me off
I'm
of
sure
it.
she runs it. I'm sure he doesn't know how to fucking run a website. Or,
so he doesn't
update.
have the ability to go in
I can't
there.
picture him doing like HTML.
No.
You know what I mean? Like, it's not happening.
Coding? I don't figure it. No.
He's not doing that. So
she wants to get knocked up. Sir, you have to keep the illusion that she's a virgin. You can't say
please.
that stuff.
She wants, you can't
You
say
gotta
she's
keep your
Heather
business
the
going.
Virgin.
Right.
So he's sitting there now, and he's like, he has nowhere to go.
Yeah.
He's got fucking nowhere, no business, no nothing. He's like, what am I going to do? I'm all alone.
Yeah.
I don't know how to cook. So he goes out and he finds a little restaurant. He opens it up. He opens it up, and it's the Shawarma Man. It's the Shawarma Man. And he says, how is it you've come to arrive here? Why are you here? What you go to Texas?
Yeah.
You have 50? Come on, little young for you? Come on. What, farmhouse? You know electric with this girl?
Not even legal in my country.
In my country, you can marry that age, but you have to at least provide electric. You can't be in no farmhouse with no.
You have
What's
to give
wrong?
her
Why?
father a chicken.
Why? You give something. Why? Signs say closed. You come. Why? I don't want you here. That's 2 times. You get arrested. You go. You go. You want shawarma? I know made for you. No. You, I say no. You go. Signs say closed. You go.
Jesus.
Buck leaves dejected. He's very sad. He's hungry. He wants shawarma, but he can't do it. Now, 2013, he appears in a 27-minute comedy short film called The Electric Trippers.
Is this on Funny or Die?
I don't know. I doubt it's there. It had a bunch of local Minnesotans in it.
Okay.
It said the description on IMDb of this. It has an IMDb. Is quote, Stella and Zach take off on an adventure in their electric Tesla Roadster, leaving behind public charge points. They unplug and set out to prove that electric range anxiety is just a state of mind. Out in the countryside of northern Minnesota, they meet many new friends who will help them stay charged up for their travels while providing them with hilarious entertainment.
Oh, I'm sure it's hysterical.
Wow, does that sound like shit?
Yeah.
That sounds terrible.
It's a
short.
Why? Who made that? Is it for Tesla, or is that just them
it's
going?
Just a couple of idiots.
We could try to push the
couple of hipsters, and they grabbed Buck Zumhofe and stuck him in it.
We can push the electric car agenda.
2013. By the way, he has not done the worst thing yet. It's coming up. Don't worry.
Hey, by the way, if you're pushing the electric car agenda, I'm sure that's great and all, but it was now been pushed by a fucking child molester. So there's that.
Well, that's fine.
That doesn't help.
Charge. Let's squeeze him down and charge things with his essence.
Okay.
How's that? Can we do that?
Yeah.
2013. He's at a fundraiser for some fundraiser thing where guys up on stage talking about some a 7-year-old boy that they're doing a fundraiser for who's dying. And they run some wrestling promotion, these guys. Buck just barges up and grabs the mic out of the guy's hand and starts saying
like
that
a drunk brother at a wedding.
He's like, look, guys, everybody runs a good show, and these guys are good, and they run a nice promotion. They said that, but we'd like to be mentioned, too. We run a nice promotion here, too, blah, blah, blah. And
That's what he did?
Buck says this.
Wow.
Buck says, yeah, and I know you have, I know you're doing a thing for a thing. Well, our next show is a fundraiser to raise money for a 5-year-old kid with syphilis that we know. So blah, blah. He said a 5-year-old kid with syphilis. Now, it's a YouTube video, so the audio might be off, but I heard 5-year-old boy who got syphilis. And I'm like, Did he say syphilis?
He doesn't know that's sexually transmitted.
And I scrolled down some in the comments, and like 2 other people commented, did he say there's a 5-year-old boy with syphilis? So I'm like, okay, that wasn't just me. So I think he just made that up on the spot. Just like, well, we got charity too.
Yeah, we got a 5-year-old with syphilis.
What do you got, lupus? I got syphilis. Don't worry about it. It's fine.
That's amazing.
What a disaster. So
he Kanye'd a wrestling event.
He did. That is not the worst thing because buckle up, Jimmy. Here it comes, man. Everybody, I know you've been waiting for it. It's fucking worth it.
Syphilis. That was amazing.
Yeah, you're not going to have that smile on your face in 1 second here. So May 27, enjoy it while you can.
Okay.
All of you, enjoy it while you can and buckle the fuck up here. Buckle the fuck up.
Yeah.
May 27th. 2013, Buck is arrested.
Okay.
He is facing 6 felony counts of first-degree criminal sexual assault and 6 felony counts of third-degree criminal sexual assault.
That seems like a lot of rape over a long period of time.
He is accused of having sex with this victim between the years 1999 and 2011.
This motherfucker.
The criminal complaint in the case states that Buck first met the female victim in 1998. Do I need to say any more than this? Began having sex with her in June 1999 when she was 15 years old.
Wow.
It's his daughter. He is accused of having sex for fucking over a decade with his own fucking daughter. This utter and complete piece of fucking shit.
I was right all along. He thought she was hot when he met her.
That's right.
What a scumbag.
He fucking recruited his own. He said,
he groomed her for.
Yeah.
See, that he was into it the whole
character.
life.
For him to go seek her out and to want to reunite his family, it seemed out of character, didn't it? You fucking said, wow, he's being really like responsible with this. No, he was like, oh, I like 15-year-old girls.
Remember how I tried to keep that one in a house and I couldn't because her parents probably got a little suspicious. Well, this one's parent won't get suspicious because I'll know all about it.
Unbelievable.
What a shitbag.
She says that she moved out in 2011. That's when it ended. She says that the abuse began when she moved in to his new London home. Progressed from fondling to oral sex to intercourse. She alleges approximately 1,800 acts of sexual abuse occurring in the home and everywhere else, including all over the places they went on the road.
Everywhere.
Until she left in June 2011. The woman's mother, Heather's mother, even attempted to remove her from the residence at one point, but Buck... asshole fucking told his daughter that he would kill himself and it would be her fault if she left. So she stayed because she's a poor kid and she doesn't know any better.
He's a predator.
Unfucking real. God. And after they left, she said it says that Buck became violent, threatened her husband, threatened suicide, just lashed out completely. He is being held on $500,000 cash or bond, or 100. That's for an unconditional release, or $100,000 for a conditional release, which would be no alcohol, no contact with the victim, no anything. Okay, this is how it started.
This is 2011.
This is 2013 when he's arrested for this.
She's 2 years after she left it.
Yeah. Unfucking real. So she this is what happened. She says on her 15th birthday, she was with him. She was wearing a 2-piece bathing suit. He insisted on rubbing baby oil on her, including under her swimsuit bottom, saying that he didn't want her to get a funny tan line.
Oh, God.
That was the first night she moved in. He began touching her breasts.
Yeah.
After 2 weeks, he began doing a variety of sexual acts. He made her dance in front of him, wearing her bra and panties, also watched pornography with her.
Oh, Jesus.
He wanted to, within a few weeks, he had to have sex with her 2 or 3 times a day.
Good fuck.
Which would injure her and never give her time to heal.
Yeah.
He just didn't give a shit. At one point, it took 8 weeks for bleeding to stop because of the non-stop fucking
sexual
abuse. I hope somebody fucks him right in his Zumhofe, this motherfucker. I hate him so much. See what I mean? Are you angry right now? Everybody out there fucking angry as me, having to fucking read about this shit for 3 weeks?
Gross.
Oh, my God. Okay. So, in July, this is worse. In July 99, Heather's mother,
Yeah.
the girl that, whatever, that he had a one-night stand with, moved in too. After, so Buck was abusive to her,
Yeah.
was domestic violence and everything else. So the mother tried to move out in September '99 with the daughter and leave the state. She wanted to call law enforcement, but Heather said that he threatened to kill himself and she wouldn't leave and to just leave him alone and they'd be fine. Unfucking real. So the mother leaves.
Wow.
For multiple years, 2 to 3 times a day, he has sex with this fucking poor woman, woman at this point. I don't even fucking know. The whole time he's running independent shows, he's bringing her with. He's calling her Heather the Virgin.
Yeah, and he knows damn well 1,800 times she's not a virgin.
Fucking unbelievable. He's dragging her all around.
Did he ever impregnate her?
Yes.
Wow, Jesus
yes.
God, fuck.
Didn't
of
have
course
the baby.
He did.
She lost it, but he fucking
Jesus.
impregnated her. During this period, like I said, he brought her on the road. Everybody saw shit was wrong, too.
Oh, Jesus.
Nobody in wrestling said shit. Silver-haired, middle-aged assholes through the entire thing. Nobody says fucking shit.
So scummy.
And she says she didn't say anything because she was scared that the people in wrestling...
She's a young girl.
She didn't want to get blackballed from wrestling. And she thought... unbelievable.
She thought he could do that to her.
Yeah, there's corroboration from another woman who said in 2001, while she was 17, they were living in Cyrus, and Zumhofe wanted a fucking threesome with this girl and his daughter, and she witnessed Buck inappropriately touching his daughter after she turned the offer down.
Wow.
This lady. Wow. Other people saw him French kissing and dirty dancing with her at a high school dance.
Oh. I just gagged. That was so gross.
Everyone and multiple people knew that he shared a bed with his daughter.
Oh my God, it's so gross. I'll share a bed with my daughter all the time.
Like
but I'm
a little kid who has nightmares and comes in.
She's terrified.
This is not a 16
all the time.
If she's coming in, if you're sleeping with her when she's 17, we're going to have to talk about that.
I'd be willing to let you chat. I'd be like, help me get her the fuck out of here. I don't want to sleep alone.
Wow. She eventually gets married and moves away. Just to imagine what kind of horrible piece of shit she married, probably, just to get away from there. And claimed that she, like I said, Buck would get violent, threatened both her and her new husband, the whole deal. Wow. So that's May 27, 2013. Like I said, he's arrested. The county attorney, Jennifer Fisher, says that the nature of these crimes were such that she is going to attempt to keep him out of circulation for the rest of his life. That's what she's going for. Thank fuck. 1,800 times between the ages of 15 and 27. Wow.
That's so much.
Wow. Immediately, too. Fucking immediately.
Yeah.
Three of these counts are related to oral sex. Counts 4 through 12 are related to sexual intercourse and a variety of other. It's between July 1st, 99 and May 5th, 2001, the day before her 17th birthday. So everything after that is technically legal but disgusting.
Yeah.
Absolutely biggest shit in the world, but fucking legal.
Yeah.
He faces a maximum of 30 years in prison and a $40,000 fine for each of the first 6 counts related to the period when she was under 16.
Good.
For the other 6 counts, when she was 16, it's a maximum of 5 years in prison each and $30,000 fine. Holy shit. The prosecutor was like absolutely, as you can imagine, had the same reaction we did. We were just like, are you fucking kidding? And the prosecutor publicly kept saying, there's no fucking way that nobody in the wrestling community knew this was going on. No way in hell. You guys knew this was up. You're even bigger fucking scumbags. So
no way that they didn't have a clue.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. So July 12th, 2013, somehow he posts a non-cash bond.
What?
I don't know if he put a house up, if people did whatever for him, but he gets the fuck out somehow and is out for whatever. But it doesn't matter. He has a couple trials canceled in 2013. They're pushing it back. Everybody needs more time to, I don't know.
Scumbag away.
Fucking settle their stomachs, maybe. I don't even know, man.
Taking Pepto every day.
So that's,
Lots of Tums are sold in that state.
You fucking know it. Trial starts in March of 2014. A woman named Holly Kojalo Reuter testifies that she had her on her bus while she was a bus driver between 98 and 2001, and she testified once that while driving her bus, there was a vehicle driving erratically behind the bus, and Heather, the daughter, made the bus driver stop because she wanted to get out of the car and go ride with her dad, who was behind them driving erratically for some reason.
The fuck?
I don't know if he needed some right then or what. This woman also testified, the bus driver, that Heather and Dickhead kissed in a romantic way, and that his hand was on her body in an inappropriate way. Also testified the same woman that, like I said, about the dirty dancing. Also, they were dirty dancing closely and intimately at a bar one time where she thought,
when she was young,
he's taking her to fucking bars and dirty dancing with her. Wow. The daughter Heather went to University of Minnesota, and there's a woman named Jennifer Newman who met Heather while they were both attending University of Minnesota. Said that Buck and Heather had sexual contact in front of her in the apartment.
What the fuck?
She witnessed this also. Wow. Another woman testified that she wrestled with Buck's, wrestling group for several years, and she saw basically that Buck and Heather lived like husband and wife. That's what she said. She said, quote, the young woman was like the wife and Buck took care of the manly stuff,
Jesus.
she said. She said that Heather never went anywhere without Buck, and that they often kissed and held hands in front of others on weekend wrestling trips, and that Buck got verbally upset at Heather whenever she got near any other men.
Of course, because that's how he keeps her to himself.
Wow.
So gross. This is vile, man.
This is what I mean. This is the fucking worst.
So uncomfortable.
This is the worst.
Yeah,
this is the worst. One of the worst people we've done. The guy who cut his friend's heart out, I'm not as fucking mad at him.
I hope he gets
worse
raped.
Here. I hope, bucked right in his Zumhofe.
Yeah.
That's all I fucking hope. His defense attorney, Carter Grainer, who I don't know what the fuck he's thinking, he denied a bunch of the testimony and said that he never had any inappropriate actions with her.
Yeah.
Buck takes the stand. Takes the fucking stand.
Of course he does.
Admits sharing a bed with her and sleeping with her, but nothing else. Says that he did that on the road at wrestling shows in order to save money on hotel rooms, and shared a bed with other wrestlers also when they came to stay, and that was common. He says... fuck in their own words. He said it was either I slept with her, let another guy sleep with her, or let her sleep on the floor.
So
how about everybody's? How about you sleep on the floor and let her take the bed?
Yeah, how
about you do that?
So why are those other options so awful?
Wow. March 5th, 2014, Buck is convicted of this shit, obviously, after less than 4 hours of deliberations. I don't even know what took him that long. 6 counts of first degree, 6 counts of third degree. After the trial, this is March 5th, they read the verdicts. Afterwards, the Carter Grainer, the attorney, asked to meet with his client in a conference room before they do the sentencing and everything. Buck asked to use the bathroom on the way to the conference room. Also, too, he fucking tries to make a run for it out of court.
He did?
He got called guilty and tried to run away.
Tried to break.
How the fuck are you not going to be recognized?
Hilarious.
Where do you think he was going to blend into? First of all, with his boombox on his shoulder.
That's hilarious.
He is tackled by bailiffs immediately and dragged the fuck back in there.
I was hoping you were about to say he took a cyanide pill.
Yeah, that would have been great. I really wish he would. He's supposed to come back May 9th, 2014 for sentencing now for his attempted escape, which is another 4 to 10 years likely on his sentence. Good. So, anyway, sentencing is May 9th, 2014. He receives a total of 310 months in prison for being found guilty on all of those things. That is about 26 years in jail.
It's a little over 24.
That's not bad for a 66-year-old man.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
It's not bad math for a 36-year-old. I almost got that.
They give the sentences are 115 months, 91 months, 52 months, 52 months. Okay. It follows the recommendations of pre-sentencing investigation, the whole deal. Also, he orders these sentences to be served consecutively.
Oh, boy.
You're fucking in there? Yeah, he's in there
for a long, long time.
Yeah, he's also, if he ever does get out, he's ordered to serve 10 years of conditional release, pay $200 in fines, and register as a predatory sex offender.
Predatory.
The district attorney asked that the judge double the sentence to 620 months because he had also found there's aggravating factors, including the cruelty and multiple forms of contact with these women and his other prior convictions for doing this twice fucking before. Jesus Christ. The attorney said Mr. Zumhofe shows no remorse for his actions. Even if he finally admitted that they happened, this is an extreme sentence, but Mr. Zumhofe's actions can be described as nothing less than extreme.
Yeah.
His attorney, Carter Grainer, said, quote, Mr. Zumhofe is very, very ashamed. It's not easy to come clean. He will be 80 years old when he gets out. That's punitive enough. I don't think anything's punitive enough. Judge declines doubling the sentence.
Yeah.
Zumhofe's, Buck's attorney requested a stay in prison time so he could get probation and get treatment and counseling. They're like, just rot till you die in there.
Yeah,
Fuck you and your counseling. We don't need to counsel him.
No.
He's good.
We've given a shot.
He's done.
Right.
He's not changing.
We've
He's
tried.
Nearly 70 years old. June 4th, 2014, Heather Hallberg, as she's going by now, is seeking financial assistance for travel, ongoing medical care, and legal expenses, and set up a GoFundMe account to do that. So that's not a terrible thing if you were half a decent human being back then when she needed the cash. If anybody could use it, it's this poor girl.
Yeah, no doubt.
No, just wanted a father, and she instead got fucking raped 1,800 times.
1,800 times.
Ugh. Buck is now currently serving his sentence. He's at it's at Rush City. I don't know, it's a Minnesota Correctional Facility at Rush City. Anticipated release date is 4/14/2031. So good luck with that.
He ain't gonna make it.
No, his offender ID is 146235. If you want to write to him.
Yeah.
And hey, you want to call his caseworker? Say hi. Guy's name is Dustin Carlson. Area code 320-358-0508. If you want to call that guy and say, make sure that dickhead never gets out of fucking jail, enjoy. Do it.
Keep working on that case.
He's just a complete mess. He's in there. There is no Buck Zumhofe memorabilia or anything. It's all been wiped off the fucking internet.
Good.
You can't find shit. Thank God, because nobody wants this. This is the most universally hated man in wrestling anyway.
No
They're just like, fuck that guy.
That guy's
he fucked his daughter forever.
Fuck him. Long time.
Wow.
Over and over and over again.
I got to take fucking 3 showers after this whole fucking thing. I really do. If you like that story and you liked hearing about this sick insanity, something wrong with you, but we appreciate it. Please get on iTunes, give us 5 stars, tell us you're following instructions, following directions. It really doesn't matter. Also, too, you can get on patreon.com/crime and sports to make a donation, or you can get on PayPal to make a one-time donation using our email, crimeandsports@gmail.com.
Yep.
And we have some fine people that have done just that this week. Jimmy, why don't you
Al Messier, Raul Amavisca, David Newsom, Sean Kerrigan, Kirk Withrow, Shelby Gibbs, Lauren Meredith, Jamie Marshall, Patricia Dorn, Brittany Harrington, Heather Budd, Ryan Crum upped his pledge. Scott,
wow, thank you.
Yeah, Scott, what's his last name? Scott Countryman.
Oh, yeah.
He sends pictures to us every week from his dog Ranger. That's his name. He has another one, too. I forget her goddamn. Ava? I think it's Ava.
Sure.
Anyway. Thanks, Scott. Appreciate your
donation.
donation.
My own dog's name.
Jennifer Burke, Rachel Dooley, Matthew Sears, Chandra Bannon, Lucas Tudor, Jennifer Brannon, Kristen Reese, Corin Miles, Cindy Smith, Kelly Everett, Mindy Baganat, Andrew Wigan. He's awesome. He sends it's constant. He's constantly sending us a little bit of cash here and there. It's awesome.
The best. Thank you,
Iona
man.
Nelson and Will Jacobs. Thank you all so much for the donations. Thank you for participating. Thank you for being a part of this.
They mean everything
it's awesome.
to us. So thank you. They really do. It's the world. So we can't thank you guys enough for everything you've done. If you want to follow us a little more, you can check out the Wrestle Rock Rumble video, whatever.
There you go.
Our social media is at Crime and Sports on Instagram and Twitter. Facebook.com/Crime and Sports.
Yeah.
crimeandsports@gmail.com. You can get a hold of us everywhere.
Yeah. You can find us at truecrimecomedyteam.com and get your new T-shirt.
Place. And get a nice T-shirt. And what if they would like to get a hold of you specifically,
at
Jimmy? How about
sucks,
that?
WHISMAN sucks on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. Find me and interact. It's been a fucking great week. So keep it up, you guys.
I am at Jimmy P is funny. You can do the same thing there if you'd like to get a hold of me specifically. And you can do that. Find me on wherever. Copy and paste my name so you don't have to drive yourself nuts. Guys, what a disaster. Holy shit, what a fucking mess that was.
Horrible.
Thank you for sticking in there and dealing with that and getting through it. And I hope we can make it semi-funny for a man to rape a girl for 13 years.
1,800 times.
Holy shit. Live from the Crime and Sports Studios.